Okay, how to be a cool superhero. First things first, you gotta have a cool car. You ain't got no money, so that's not happening. Second, you gotta have a cool costume. We'll have to work on that. Alright, then you also have to be able to solve really complicated cases and solve crimes and kick cloud ass.
Kinda like stopping that lady over there from being robbed?
Are you fucking serious? That dude's got a gun, okay? Let the real cops handle that. We only go after people like the Joker and Penguin and Poison Ivy and occasionally Catwoman, depending on what kind of mood she is that time of the month, okay? We don't deal with that kind of stuff.
You're scared of guns, aren't you?
Fucking terrified. Nope, Batman don't do guns.
After these messages, we'll be right back. From some time in the not-too-distant future, it's talking and electronic Robocop.
Hands up. Uphold the law. Drop it. You called for backup.
Recharge your action figure collection with talking and electronic Robocop in 3 action-packed sizes. He's unbeatable.
The call goes out.
The Joker's broken into the Gotham City Bank.
Bruce Wayne goes into action as Batman with his Batcycle, like you've never seen him before.
Wow! You're finished, Joker.
Each sold separately from Batman, the Dark Knight collection.
Take a look at the new G.I. Joe Tomahawk.
Look, Cobra's attacking the All-Striker. Tomahawk to the rescue!
Tomahawk holds 8 Joes and it's loaded for battle.
Yo, Joe!
Tomahawk's gonna chase some Cobra. Tomahawk is on the go. Tomahawk's gonna chase some Cobra and rescue G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe!
Live the adventure of G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe Tomahawk. Other Joe and Cobra figures sold separately.
Yo, Joe!
Hey there, sports dudes. In baseball tonight, Grand Slam and Rath slammed a hit. Unfortunately, the ball didn't go anywhere because it was attached to a pole. In football, TD Toss and Leo's making sure the Foot aren't having a ball. In basketball, Slam Dunk and Don's becoming a real basket case. And in wrestling, we find Shell Slamming Mike pinned by his python. More Sewer Sports All-Stars coming up, but now a word from our sponsor. For Playmates, dudes.
Now relive the magical adventures of the movie Willow with these amazing characters that bring the story to life. There's the heroic swordsman, Matt Mardigan.
Oh, and this war for you?
The evil sorceress, Bab Morda. The dreaded General Cave.
I'll crush the rebels!
And brave Willow himself. The epic battles, good versus evil. You can bring the magic of Willow home with collectible figures, vehicles, and accessories, each sold separately. Willow, the magic lies within.
Hey, Beast Man, do you have any problems with shit sticking to your fur?
No.
Then get over here and wipe my ass. Oh, He-Man. He-Man.
Skeletor.
That's a dumb name.
Huh?
He-Man. He-Man. It's like the same thing twice. Why don't you just call yourself Guy?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
They're gonna fight! They're gonna fight! I thought Daniel wouldn't fight! He's got no choice! Justin, you must fight to the finish. Fight. Remember, Daniel, son, true strength comes from heart. He's gonna do it!
Discover the secrets of karate with Karate Kid Tri-Action figures.
Concentrate, Daniel, son.
They chop, twist, and kick. Karate Kid Tri-Action figures are each sold separately. And for more action, look for the Karate Kid Competition Center from Remco.
begin.
Laser Tag, the game that moves at the speed of light. From Worlds of Wonder Stadium not included.
What do we have here?
It's Castle Grayskull. And it's mine. Not so fast, Beastman. He-Man!
You can pit He-Man against Beastman, playing for the power of Castle Grayskull. You have to put the castle together.
Beastman's escaping.
What's wrong, Dad? Dad, you saved the castle.
Castle Grayskull from the Masters of the Universe collection. He-Man and Beastman, each sold separately. From Mattel.
Day 678. Things are really fucking boring. There's so much peaceful protesting going on, but there's nothing that I can do about it. I dare not catch the virus. I thought maybe Joker was behind it, but now I am not so sure. See here.
Hello, Batsy.
Joker!
What?
Are you sure you're not behind the Panda Express, dammick?
The what?
The Panda Express, the thing! The reason I can't go outside and fight crime.
No, Batsy, I'm not behind the COVID thing. I don't know who is, but it's not me.
Well, fuck. You sure it wasn't Penguin?
I'm pretty sure.
What about Ridley?
No. Probably wasn't the Riddler either.
All right. Hey, if you're gonna start doing any crime, though, please let me know.
Sure.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Love you. Later.
It's Saturday. How's everybody doing out there? I should be in Las Vegas, but instead, you know what? I'm gonna hang out with you guys. So let's do this thing. It's Midnight's Edge After Dark, and with me for now, anyway, until more people get here, is the lovely Lorena Creel. How you doing?
I am doing well, Tom. How are you?
Doing the best I can. Just waiting for everybody else to get here. We're just having some fun with people in the chat. We're gonna round up some news. We're gonna have some people bouncing in and out throughout the show here, but we're just gonna talk about some different things. How you doing? How's your week been? What you been up to?
Well, the week's been crazy with the job that pays the bills, but that's pretty much par for the course. Week's been great. I went out to Universal Studios last night, and they're getting stuff set up for Halloween Horror Nights. It looks so gross. It's so good.
So what kind of things did you see them setting up there? What kind of stuff can you tease us?
Let's see. Well, I know one scene they had, it was like a guy or let's say a figure in a bathroom, and it kind of looked like a cross between A Nightmare on Elm Street and Psycho.
Nice. And welcome, Mike. We have the Mexican Iron Man joining us.
Hey, Mike.
Oh my God. Raina's here. I'm so excited.
Hey, Chef Nation. How you doing? Hey, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Wait, this isn't the karaoke show, right?
No, you're not.
No,
not tonight. Not yet.
See,
Maybe later.
now I feel bad because I have like flour tortillas right now that I'm like trying to eat while on the show.
Can I just tell you? And I just want to tell you, you're always so sweet. Back from when I was in the hospital, and you sent me that care pack along with everybody else, and then every time I find you in chat, you're always so sweet, and thank you for being so sweet. You have been great.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
And I love how smart you are when you slice and dice these yo-yos for who they are and what they are.
Well, we're going to get into some of that, Mike. Before I ask how you're doing, let's say hello to the chat since you brought it up. We got Lindsay hanging out in the chat. How you doing? We got Chef Nation, as you mentioned as well. How you doing? We did a show last night over on Jesse's stream where we did an unproduced Freddie versus Jason script. It was a lot of fun. We got Dragon Master hanging in there. We've got Sander Hammerslag. Welcome. Matthew Birkland. If I'm saying that right. Welcome. We got Joey. Just Joey. Nothing more. Just Joey.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, K-Mation. We got Nikki D. We've got Aiken. How y'all doing? Ham Dinger's here. I'm here. Don't worry. We got Tim Hayes. We got Dermot McQuaid. Mecha J's hanging in there. Cyber Soldier. Annibal, and a whole lot more. Welcome to the show, guys. Please share out that link. Hit that like button. And yeah, we're going to talk about all kinds of good stuff. But Mike, how you been doing, man?
It's been a busy week and trying to navigate my passion, which is YouTubing and watching and listening to my favorite channels and doing streams with you, of course, Tom. And then trying to be productive. A very productive day earlier today. Of course, I got up. You guys were awesome. You guys freaked me out with that reading last night, but I eventually fell asleep. So
yeah, I saw you in the chat. But yeah, we got to get you in on one of those.
You guys are great, man.
Jesse and I we're gonna do. We've been talking about. We're gonna do a little jazzier. We're gonna spice it up a little bit. We got some ideas.
Yeah, you guys did a good job. The whole crew panel.
In fact, I got to talk to you about that.
All right.
Because I want to figure out some of the music and sound effects. But with that, I'm glad to hear you're doing well, and we're glad to have you here, Mike. And yeah, I'm glad to see everybody in the chat filing in. So glad to see so many people here. It's you guys that make this happen. Again, please hit that like button, hit that share, send it out to all the folks out there. Let them know we're live, because Lord knows YouTube won't. It wouldn't even let me load up my thumbnail.
Really?
It's funny.
Yeah. I mean, I loaded it up, but
it has been acting funny for all kinds of different channels in different ways. Nina had a problem yesterday. I saw her stream.
Paulie was having some issues too, I know.
Earlier today, I committed to do a launch show for GoGo 13. You know GoGo 13 from all of our streams. He's a good supporter of Midnight City channels. Yeah, and you and Raina, you've seen GoGo 13. So he was doing his launch show today in anime at 1 o'clock, and YouTube, the whole back studio flipped on him and then canceled his connection to StreamYards, and we couldn't get back up. So he had to reschedule till tomorrow. Yeah, it's crazy. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know what Jesse's told you yet, but we talked a little bit earlier. Unfortunately, he's working right now, so he's not going to be able to join us. But Andre is sleeping. We were going to have him come in, but he's like, I'm tired.
So then, since one's asleep and one's working, they get one of these.
Oh, no! Super Blubberpuss is here, though. Sends in $10. Thank you so much. Says, have you guys heard about the Nielsen ratings are racist?
What?
Blamed for low ratings? No.
What?
That's the first I've heard of this. And even sent us a link here, so let me grab this.
For real?
What?
Oh God, everything is racist.
America's going to hell. America's it can't be. Look at all the diversity and inclusion that we have on this panel right now.
You're kidding. There's no diversity and inclusion.
What?
It's just a figment.
I just got a request for a link, kids.
You are. Oh, I've seen you with the camera on. You are so real.
So we got to suck in our guts and behave, Mike. I got a request for a link here.
Okay.
Somebody's listening. Well, I did send
Andre. Andre, it's not me. There's someone that's taken over the Mexican Iron Man StreamYard account. It's not me. Wait, I just said it's not me. That means it is me. Oh,
I think you're busted, Mike. No, he's not. He must be a lot more awake than I thought. But here he is. Welcome, Andre. How you doing?
Oh, there's Andre.
Oh, yeah. No, I couldn't sleep. I was like worried. What are you going to do to the brand name?
Look at that. Tom invites Reina and Mexican Iron Man. All of a sudden, there's too much diversity and inclusion. Tom's
we don't want to be xenophobic while we're at it. And then let's get some.
No, of course I'm joking. Of course,
I know.
Let's get some more representation in here while we're at it. Like what? We've got Mandy too.
Oh my goodness!
Hey, Mandy.
Back from the swimming pool.
I saw that.
I got sunburned.
Oh,
no.
Wait, what did you see at the swimming pool? She's a married woman there, Tom.
I just saw her. She posted it online.
I posted it.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Let me
Valiant,
go check that.
You got the link. You should have the link, buddy. Valiant sends in $4.99 and says, "Hey nerds." He might be busy though. But yeah, so as I promised, kids, there was some people going to be hopping in here. We've got Mandy with us now, Lorena, Mike, and Andre. Valiant, you can hop in if you got time. I sent out the link to quite a few people. In fact, we may even get some other guests in here too, depending on how busy they are. Let's say I was talking to one of these individuals earlier while he was getting a report back about a movie he recently edited. So he was like, so we'll see if he comes in or not. Well, I don't know if he wants me saying a lot about it, so I'm not gonna. But you know how it is when you realize when you're getting down to the final moments of editing a movie, every moment counts, and there's all kinds of things that got to be done before things get done. And so yeah, he called me and talked to me a little bit about it. It was cool to hear about it though. So I'm sure you all know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think pretty well decided.
Let me think. Mahler?
No.
Script Doctor?
No.
No,
but I did send Script Doctor a new idea for a movie, and he actually liked it.
By the way, you know what I like? I like today's Midnight's Edge video that dropped. Good job, boys, Andre and Tom. That was good.
Thank you.
And he even gave me some notes, so I think that it means he really liked it.
Oh, nice.
I really liked today's video. I really, really liked it. It was great. I listened to it twice. It was so good.
You have no idea what I'm talking about, Mike, because nobody knows but me and him.
I didn't give you any notes. I'm just telling
about two different things right now, because Tom, you're talking about like you gave Script an idea, whereas Mike is talking about the video we dropped earlier today.
Yeah. Oh, yes, the video. Oh, well, we're going to talk about that, Mike. That's what.
This is why we need adult supervision. This is why we need Andre.
This is why we need adult supervision. I'm talking about Robert before, just so everybody's clear. And then, And speaking of Valiant, here he is.
Hi. Like as soon as I sent the super chat, I turned around and I'm like, oh, he sent me a link. I didn't even see it.
Platonic Guardian also sent us a super chat, $5 as Andre. Staff meeting on Saturdays. You're brutal. You are a cruel taskmaster. That's right, and accidentally hit the live button.
What I was thinking. Exactly the same damn thing. Andre's so mean.
It's pretty close.
It's staff meeting. It's staff meeting and DJ Renegade for entertainment.
Yeah, I don't think Paulie's coming though. He's pretty burnt out from being on the stream with Robert all night. Did you guys see that?
No, I heard about it.
Was he?
Yeah, it was great. I watched it.
Was it on Robert's channel or on his channel?
It was on Robert's.
No.
Okay.
Robert does his,
was it the Midnight Metal thing? Okay. Yeah. I know.
The one that starts at 4 a.m. my time when I'm asleep, knocked out. Robert R&B, we're twittering. He's like, Mixed Airman, I'd love to have you on. I'm like, it's at 4 a.m. East Coast.
2 a.m. here, like in Central, or 3 where you are, because he starts at midnight.
Robert sleeps less than I do.
Yeah. Yes.
Motherfucker is up. I just talked to him on the phone a little bit ago. Fucking, he's up all night. And he's up streaming as much as I. He's editing a movie and doing all kinds of other shit in the background. It's like, I admire that man. I want to grow up to be like Robert Meyer Burnett. I've said that how many times, Andre?
How many? But I think we all want to grow up to be Robert Meyer Burnett. But Tom, you got a super chat.
I do have a few
right away.
Nikki D sends in $5. Says, great job on your latest editorial. It actually gave me hope for the future of Disney because the latest MCU output has been awful. Particularly Loki. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Nikki D. We're definitely going to get into that in just a few moments. 487 Sean Tower. Holy crap.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That is so amazing. So 50 Canadian dollars. Says, I sorely needed this distraction from the real world. Afghanistan. Wow. I and other vets 20 years ago said once the West left, they would not last a decade after billions spent. We were wrong on both counts. It was trillions and only a matter of days. Now, 487 Sean, I'm assuming you're in Afghanistan. No, you're from Canada. You fought in Afghanistan?
Well, he's one of the many vets that fought there, and as it turned out, for nothing.
And even though I'm American, I want to thank you for your service.
Mm-hmm. Yes, me too.
Absolutely. You guys are part of the coalition.
And I don't want to get too deep into the politics. And I've been hearing a little bit about things going on. And it's dicey. But hopefully we can entertain you, Sean. That's what we're here to do. And it's because of that kind of stuff is what we like to hear. And we don't like to hear it, but when we hear that we can touch people and reach out to people and be a part of people's lives and entertain and distract and all those things that can take you away from the normal mundane crap of life and the bad things in life. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, and
Thank
this
you for
thing
your
here
service.
is, yeah, I also would like to say, as someone that's not even from North America, to every Canadian, every American serving, thank you for your service. And I mean that genuinely. Here's something that I do not think get enough attention. I see many, many times that people in the States, people of a certain ideology, like to throw around Scandinavia and say, look to the Nordic model, look to Norway, look to Sweden. They can afford free healthcare and all that good stuff. Why can't we in America? Well, let me tell you why. Because we don't have any armed forces. We have like some symbolic army, but not really. We only have like a minimum contingency so that we can give some symbolic help in Afghanistan and stuff like that. We rely on America for our defense. That is why
come down and be like,
why we can afford all that other
glad to
stuff.
see
We
y'all
don't
got
have
that
any
over there.
expenses for bills.
Yeah. You'd be like, glad to see you guys got that handled.
So yeah, I mean, which is why I want to say again, thank you from the bottom of my heart, because your expenses on armed forces and stuff like that is what allows the Nordic model to happen.
Yes.
Which is something I wish that many would be a little bit more aware of and have humility towards.
But yeah, I guess there's something to this. This was the link we were sent in the super chat. Nielsen. Let me make this a little bigger here because this.
Nielsen initiative.
There we go. Okay. Nielsen initiates own accreditation suspension after national.
Wait. They suspended them.
Did they cancel themselves?
They canceled themselves.
Wait a minute. I got to read this. Hold on. I'm looking at the. Wait. Hold on.
What?
Hold on.
They canceled themselves. Yes.
Nielsen
What
is
the
so
hell?
they are so at the mercy, absolutely at the complete mercy, financially speaking.
Oh my God, let's read this.
These big Hollywood studios, these big television broadcast companies, and they were all jumping on their shit.
Okay, let's read it. Let's get into it. Let's do this. Let's Midnight's Edge this sucker. Let's do this.
Okay, well, since we have the lovely Valiant Renegade voice here, I shared the link in the chat there if you want to do us the lovely honors.
It's DJ Renegade. Doggone it. It's DJ Renegade.
Renegade.
There you go.
All right, let me pull it up here.
Playing
Just
the hits
one
and those stacks
moment.
of wax that you drool for.
Crank up the volume and rip off the knob. All right, here we go.
Valiant volume.
All right. So let's see. All right, here we go. Nielsen just pulled its own card and placed itself in national TV ratings accreditation purgatory with the Media Rating Council, the MRC. Quote, yesterday, Nielsen proactively initiated the accreditation hiatus process for our national TV rating service with the Media Rating Council, MRC. The company said via a spokesperson, quote, while we remain confident in the integrity of our data and measurement and fully support the audit process, we believe that moving to a hiatus allows us to concentrate our audit-related efforts on continuing to address panel concerns alongside the transformation of our national TV product and development of Nielsen One. Last month, the Video Advertising Bureau, the industry group representing virtually all of the major TV networks, asked the Media Ratings Council to suspend the TV ratings company's accreditation. Nielsen has come under fire recently over its measurement capabilities, and the company was found to have undercounted viewers during the pandemic. Nielsen's... Oh, my God! Nielsen's total usage of television by adults 18 to 49, and that is the prime demographic, quote unquote, out there for our viewers, the demographic a majority of ad prices are based on, we understand by 2 to 6% during February, which was the time frame the MRC used to conduct the audit. Additionally, the MRC believes that, quote, persons using television among that same age group was understated by 1 to 5%. like they don't have a margin of error.
No,
keep
going,
this.
keep going, keep going.
Actually,
before he goes too much farther, I was going to say, just because there may be some confusion in the chat, do one of you guys, or should one of us kind of break down what Nielsen is real quick?
Oh, shoot,
just
yes.
so people know. I didn't even think of that.
Go
Nielsen
ahead.
is the classic television rating system where they would actually basically give the reports, and those reports would in turn set up how much the television networks can charge for their rates for commercials. Somebody can explain it better than me. Somebody, please.
Well, I was just going to say real briefly. So Nielsen,
please.
folks, has been around a very long time, decades. I mean, it used to be where when Nielsen started, they would select houses, they would send them actual paper books, and they would ask these Nielsen families to write down every day what they watched, what channel, what show, what time, and then they would mail those books back to Nielsen, and then Nielsen would collect ratings from this and extrapolate what the ratings were for a given show or program.
I've actually been a Nielsen rater quite a few times.
Yeah, there you go. So over the years, obviously, that process has evolved and matured. And, you know, they've gone to where they track cable boxes, they track satellite TV boxes, so on and so forth. So
this is their 71st year of operation, or is that right? So yeah,
sounds about right. Yeah, they've been around since. Well, yeah, it's about right. 1950. Yeah.
Yeah,
there you
that
go.
seems about right.
Somebody said it in the chat here, like this is a fancy way of going out of business. I wish I could find.
Anyway, sorry, Valiant.
Continue.
No,
sorry, I just figured
was,
we should let everybody know what Nielsen is. Yeah,
I was wrapping up simply with that, and then to add to it at the end, Nielsen obviously nowadays with so much content being delivered direct to consumer, DTC content being delivered digitally, because obviously the vast majority of delivery is no longer broadcast, right? It's through cable, it's through satellite, or it's through a digital internet presence. This is where new companies like Samba TV have come in and really taken the reins, because Samba TV, unlike measuring what channel you're on, unlike Nielsen, who measures like what channel or what station you're on, Samba is actually a piece of software embedded in your smart TV that monitors what's on your screen. It digitally recognizes what is on your television screen and measures what you're watching that way. So it knows exactly what you're watching by what is on the screen. Very different process. So this is why Samba's kind of coming up in the ranks. But that was really it. You want me to go back to the article, or anybody else?
Yeah, go back to the article now. That's a good enough rating. Nielsen's been around for a long time. They keep track of numbers and ratings. Okay, go back.
Okay. Nielsen's statement continued. As we previously announced in November 2020, we are transforming our national TV products through the integration of big data sources, and we have committed to delivering impact data beginning January 22. We're also strengthening our CTV and streaming offerings as we prepare to launch a single, deduplicated cross-media measurement solution. We are committed to delivering these capabilities to meet our clients' needs. Quote, as it relates to the panels, which we continue to be a core element of our measurement, we remain focused on recovering our panels for the future. Since March, we have been working diligently to get our panel back up to full strength by increasing panel size, improving demographic representation, and addressing panel maintenance. We're applying key learnings from the last 18 months and are actively making adjustments to our field operations that will inform our processes as we prepare for possible impact from surging COVID-19 variants, while also diligently ensuring the health and safety of our panel homes and people. So obviously, if you haven't picked up on it, audience already, the panels they're discussing, this is their sample size. This is the families, the households that they use to generate, just like if you were to go out and do a presidential poll or something for who's going to win the election. Right. Nielsen does the same thing. They have a preset metric of what types of houses, families, demographic sets they want to use to measure television.
So the short version,
viewership.
though, is they're trying to say that they were ignoring like non-white families when they were reporting.
Because what, brown and black folk can't write or read, or I don't understand what does this mean? Even? Lorena, help me here. I don't know.
I didn't know.
You want me to put it out there?
I don't know. I look, Tom. I'm just an unfrozen Mexican caveman taco farmer. Your fancy things are too confusing for me.
All right, here's what's really going on here.
How he hits every stereotype in one sentence.
Oh, it's bad. Like, here's the thing, and honestly, there may be some truth to this. So they're probably underreporting non-white households because they don't probably see them as financially viable. Like, they don't really worry about advertising to anybody who's not, and that's a very racial, like, stereotypical way of looking at this shit, and they probably are.
I just used my credit card today and it worked. I just used it.
No, I know, and that's my point.
Here's something that I'm going to ask: is it due to racial demographic or is it due to income? That's another thing that I'm going to say.
And again, I'm not saying, and they're probably right for finally changing this. This is probably something that's been a part of their system for a while, and it's not right. I mean, I'm not saying that's exactly what's going on here, but it sure sounds like it to me. I mean, Andre, what are you getting from this? I mean, from an outsider.
Well, to me, it sounds like that they know that they've gotten busted. They're going to cancel themselves before someone else does. And it also sounds to me like a case of someone making an assumption that they've always made the assumption that, oh, those poor non-whites, like they probably can't afford anything, so like let's not even bring them into the sample. They're going to bring down the average value we can claim here. We want to sample, like, you know, the good families and stuff, so we can bring up the value for goods and services here, or for commercials. So really just horrible and disgusting all along.
But yeah. I just turned. I'm brown. I just turned my TV on last night.
Yeah, that's probably what they figured out. They probably just figured out that, oh, you know what? People who aren't white, they can do stuff too. They can also turn their TVs on. They also
can do stuff now.
Yeah,
wow.
They also have disposable income.
This is why I keep griping. This is part of the reason Midnight Espanol exists, is because I've brought up time and time again. The Latino community is the second largest entertainment consumption community in the U.S., yet they are the most overlooked.
That's true. You've been saying that for like a year. That's true.
How many Hispanic driven movies have we had recently? The only ones we've had have gotten nothing but just bullshit flung at them, right? You know, but yet every other day everybody's talking about, oh, we need this black movie or this Asian movie, and it's like, well, we've had one Hispanic movie in the last 10 years that did anything, and all it did was be surrounded by controversy.
Hey, well, the Forever Purge went Hispanic, and so, you know,
that is true, and you keep bringing that up, but nobody else does. Why? Because it's a Purge movie. that's why. But In the Heights, on the other hand, is wearing it right on its shirt what it is, right? Like, that's the difference here. You know, it would be the same thing if, like, you're comparing it to, like, Do the Right Thing or something like that, where it's clearly a movie that's, you know, made by a specific group and meant to celebrate a certain group or tell a story from a certain point of view, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's meant for just that group of people. And that's where I think Nielsen is. Maybe they're coming to terms with the fact that they are fucking racist, and maybe also not only that, maybe they're also bringing it to the forefront, Andre. And I'm curious what you and Valiant and Mike and everybody thinks about this too, Mandy and Lorena as well. Like, the whole thing of, like, is this really just them finally realizing, shit, we're going to get caught? And like you said, or they did get caught. And not only that, they're kind of like, well, it's not just our fault. It's the people that are asking for this information. They've never been interested in it. Do you think that's a big part of it too? Or
I'm going to throw this out there a little bit, because I'm always hesitant to paint something as racist until I see actual proof. What I will say is that if you are just going, we'll just say if you just blindly go by income, all right, you basically say, you know what, you're making less than $30,000. We're not interested in that. Okay, if you take a sample of all ethnicities across the U.S., of course, Black people only have 13% of that. You're only going to get around 13%. And if you, all things being equal, if you go according to ethnicity with that particular income level, like say 100,000, of course you're not going to have as many minorities. Okay, that's just logically how that's going to play out. Now, I'm not saying that Nielsen is right at all, but this is kind of how I approach it. I approach it from the logical argument before I go to the emotional argument. Logically, if what they are doing is going by income, and say they're going from say 50,000 up, of course there are not going to be as many minorities that are going to be in there. Now, if it turns out that someone specifically has something documented in Nielsen that says, you know what, we're ignoring Black households, we're ignoring Latino households. Also, let's include Afro-Latinos in there too, because not all Latinos are white. So let's not forget that as well. If there's something where they say they're purposely ignoring that, then that's the smoking gun right there.
I'm inclined to believe that something like that probably does exist. I would imagine that some kind of journalist has given someone very high up a phone call and said, "Hey, you know what? We found something real interesting, and do you have any comment? We're gonna run with this story on, say, Thursday." And they have like, "Oh shit, let's just go and do damage limitation and just end this right away." That's the only reason I can think of why they would like to.
I agree. It's a proactive.
We have the answer to that, Andre.
Do we?
Six was nice enough to send this to me. And I seen Jesse in the chat. He's working, as I mentioned earlier. How you doing, Jesse?
Hey,
TV networks ask Media Ratings Council to suspend their accreditation. So this was actually prompted by the TV networks.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. They've been dropping stories the last couple of months with this. They've all seemed unhappy because
thank you for that, Six. So that's we get to the bottom of it. And script is coming in. I sent it to the wrong thing. Sorry about that, script.
How is the Nielsen still a thing though? Like I wouldn't even think enough people still pay for cable TV to. I mean, is it this kind of ancient?
Cable TV.
That's a great question, Mandy. But
most people, most people, cut their cable because it's easier just to
You're
stream,
not wrong.
right?
There was a large amount of people who do, but as I'm sure Script will jump in and tell you here, there's still a large amount of people who rely on television for their entertainment.
Yeah, Middle America. East and West Coast can cut the cable because they've got the infrastructure for streaming and internet, but Middle America, sadly, those wonderful people out there, they're stuck with some outdated tech. So yeah, they still rely on cable and network TV and satellite and all the things that Nielsen would aggregate for basically the marketing purposes of selling ad time.
And even some rural areas, like I'll say, like even here in Florida and some rural counties, they're reliant on cable and satellite, and broadband is not something that's widely available.
A lot of mountain areas and stuff like that too. And like up here in the upper Midwest, it's a lot of rural area, and the internet only goes so far.
Heck, there are people in Washington State that pirate Canadian internet access because we have the infrastructure to it.
I won't be surprised. Because this is real. Because when Andre and I first started talking, he couldn't believe how bad the internet was over here.
I was in shock when I was in LA, honestly. I thought it's like the worst internet I've experienced this side of Ukraine was in LA.
Wow.
Yeah, and then this headline though says exactly what Andre and I were saying, kind of. VAB finds, so whoever VAB is, they're the ones who found this. Rating company undercounts and underrepresents Black and Hispanic households. There you go. Right there. It's an advocacy group. There you go.
There you go.
Was that the Video Advertising Bureau?
It might be. Yep. Video Advertising
Bureau.
Okay.
Right
yeah.
There.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your answer. That's who's behind this.
They're probably looking at it saying, they're probably looking at it saying, holy crap, there's all these other markets that we're not addressing here that we could be making money off of.
Bingo.
Well, if they send me money, they can address my market. I have financial needs.
I think we all do, Mike.
I know, but we're having a diversity and inclusion discussion.
No, but Mike, you're great. I love that you're here because, as you said, your credit card worked. You are a consumer and an advocate for entertainment, big time. Mm-hmm. You're exactly one of the people that they're ignoring. And you're by no means beyond your means in consuming your entertainment. Because what did you just do a couple weeks ago when you're just like, I'm going to go out and get some shits? You went and got a 4K TV, a player.
I got, wait. Well, I found out that, okay, so I go out and I get my 4K Godzilla movies in a few. I got like 4 or 5. Guess what I got in 4K? I got the movie called The Accountant. You know why? Because I'm an accountant and it was sitting there on the shelf. So I got the 4K and the 4K Accountant. I got a bunch of them. And then Andre, I get back to the house and I go to play them and I realize I don't have a 4K freaking player. so I went back to Best Buy and I bought a 4K player.
Yeah, he messages, I think it was the MEAD group or whatever. He's like,
I took a picture and I sent it to I don't know if I sent it to Script, but I sent it to at least Jesse and Tom, like, why won't this work? Here's what I bought. Why isn't this working?
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, do you have a 4K player?
There's so many people that did that back in the day when Blu-ray first came. I was like, why is this Blu-ray not working in my DVD?
Well, you had a lot of people who refused to upgrade to Blu-ray because they didn't think Blu-ray players would play DVDs.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I don't want to start over again. It's like, well, I had to tell a lot of people, like, no. Your Blu-ray player will play DVDs and CDs for that matter.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like,
heck, there were Blu-ray players that were being sold with VHS decks on them.
Still, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. When I saw Blu-ray players were out, the first thing I asked was, do they play my old DVDs?
And that's a fair question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was glad to tell people, yes, they do. And that's their fault for not letting people know that they were backwards compatible with other things. Deranged Lunatic sent us a super sticker. It's a pooper sticker, of course. Thank you for that. Only Deranged Lunatic and Christy send me pooper stickers. Only that. But no, I think this is very interesting. And thank you for bringing this to our attention. This is a very interesting turn of events for Nielsen. But yeah, so how do you... I'm not surprised, to be honest with you. I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
I'm just interested in how they quote unquote undercounted. That's what I'm interested.
They clearly either I'll tell you one of two ways. Either they had the actual information and they just decided not to add it to whatever report, or if you were filling out a form to be a Nielsen family and you said you were Hispanic or black or whatever, if you weren't white, then they weren't interested.
That's possible. Yeah.
Well, where do I sign up in order to get? Do I get a check?
I want to know.
It's different throughout the years. See, when I first did it, we originally got a box, and this was way back in the early 90s. Mm-hmm. We had the box that we had to hook up, plus we had to fill out the log. Mm-hmm. And then in the last few years here, I've done it more for radio, and they just send me a little log book. And they give me a couple bucks, like literally a couple bucks. Like, I shit you not. Like,
is Jefferson on them?
No, unfortunately, no. It was usually anywhere from like $2 or $3 to a $5, and I would just keep getting them sent in the mail, so I'd send them back. It's like, it just for years I was like, I guess I was a Nielsen quote unquote family or whatever. Mm-hmm. But like again, I do feel like they've probably fallen out of. They're not as relevant as they used to be, but yeah, Mandy, to answer your question earlier, yeah, TV and cable is still a pretty big deal. In fact, cable had a big boost during the pandemic because
that makes sense with people being at home. That makes sense.
And then your Muslim uncle chimes in here, says, yeah, what about the Muslim community? Checks numbers, the Latino Muslim community. Well, that's just it. I'm sure there's many of other mixed communities and demographics they're not even taking into consideration, but I don't see why it should matter what quote unquote demographic you're in. It should just matter of you, if you've got eyeballs or not. That's the way we see it here.
Right.
I don't give a shit what color your skin is as long as you're watching and participating and enjoying the show, right? I mean,
that's usually the best way.
Does Nielsen do anything with marketing?
Well, that's kind of
what
they
used for marketing, because that's why.
Yes. Well,
okay, so that's why I'm going to bring it back to why quote unquote breaking things down by demographic is an issue, because there's certain products that appeal to certain groups primarily. Not saying it only appeals to one group. Mm-hmm. But it may appeal to more. If there is a company that wants to advertise and they're a urban apparel company, they're going to try to market to more Blacks and Hispanics who live in the inner cities than they are rural areas. So that's why I'm saying don't completely discount that just because they want to market to a certain ethnicity means, not saying that anyone's saying this, does that mean that it's racist? No, it doesn't. That's marketing.
That's true.
Absolutely.
But there's the other side of this, though. Are they putting themselves in a position then when, let's say, that Urban Outfitter you just brought up is not aware that there's an audience they could get to because they're basically being gate kept out of that situation?
Right, and that's a situation as well. That's why I said it's not to say that there are other groups that aren't interested. It's
Right.
just they're primarily marketing to that particular one. But yeah, like you're saying, it's like you're missing out on this particular marketing segment. So how are they handling that? Is it just like, oh, you don't need to market, to the people in Middle America. You just want to stick to marketing to Black people.
No, but that's a fair point. Like a lot of this could just be, like I said, maybe it is an older system that definitely needs a huge fucking overhaul. And I mean, if there is some shenanigans involved with them underrepresenting certain groups, then yeah, it should be called out. But you're right, it could be a whole marketing strategy, but it doesn't make sense to discount in a complete market just because you want to.
No, because you're basically pissing money away at that point. That doesn't
exactly.
And when you're on a show, you get all the details of the rating systems for that block of time. And usually that's what's used to promote to potential advertisers. So even if you did say have a section where 60% of your audience is white, but the other 40% is a cross between Asian, Latin, and Black, you'd still use that as leverage to try and get advertising dollars and sell commercials for that time. Doesn't even matter what the slot is. It's like, oh, listen, well, if we can get hit all those demographics in say that hour-long program, we've just increased our market share for that show and that value. The other part too is like, would Nielsen choose to withhold some information from other shows? Pretty much not, because they then would then be considered like unreliable. And on top of that too, if they did find out, which in the 80s and 90s, it was a lot easier for like show producers and whatnot to find out their exact audience without Nielsen ratings, just with like the interaction that they started having with like letter campaigns and like the merchandising of shows and whatnot. And they could just go travel around town, especially for like the comedies and whatnot. Whenever stand-up comedians that would do comedy shows in the 80s and 90s, they would do tours in between seasons. They would know exactly who their demographic was, and they can go back and say, hey, make sure that we're advertising to these groups of people with our commercials and stuff, because that's money being pissed away and so forth. And they would do it. So yeah, like it's kind of strange that they're approaching it in this angle, but if it's all with a chance to either revitalize Nielsen and then transition over to streaming as well, that could be a benefit for everyone involved, because as we learned this week, to something I've been saying for quite a while, streaming will go the way of network television. It'll just be network television on demand.
Right.
Well, no, Nielsen's been putting out their top 10 list for a while now on the streaming stuff. We're trying to, right? I mean, it's been like at least 2 years, 3 years now.
I want to bounce off of something that Lorena kind of said here, and K-Mation's making a point here. Well, he makes a point that I want to kind of address here. Nielsen didn't want any money. Actually, that's where I'm kind of curious as to why I think Lorena's right, is to say that, maybe we shouldn't just quickly jump on calling Nielsen's system racist, because I think it has more to do with who's asking for what information, because Nielsen's going to do whatever job it's going to do. It gets paid the same amount no matter what. They have zero, reason to lie about any of these demographics, right? Like they have no reason in their structure to discount anybody. It's whoever's asking for the information and how they want to use it, to me. So to me, it's more the TV networks that are being racist, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
Well, if they're not thinking of those markets, they would be basically, they'd just be negligible as opposed to racist. If they're just not thinking the markets, it's more negligible than racist. But like, you never know. There could be some that be like, I don't care about the others. I just want this.
That's what I'm saying, is that the networks could just be saying, well, we don't care about those demographics. We just want to know what the white people want. That is where the racism comes in. And that's what I'm saying here. And maybe that's the case. And if that's still the case, then it's the TV networks, not Nielsen, doing it. That's what I think Lorraine is trying to say, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Exactly. If you're just if Nielsen is just cranking out the information that people want, or that they want to look at with respect to marketing, it's up to the network or who decides to use that. And if you decide to weaponize that information by making it racist, that's a different story.
Right. All right. Well, I'm going to let Mandy read this super chat.
Larry knows so good, you gotta say it twice. Hey, love bug for $2. Hell in panel, and Mandy. He likes turtles. Hey, Larry.
I like turtles too.
You like turtles?
I like turtles. Willie Woodward, our good buddy, says, well, Tom, the demographic breakdowns work for marketing and making psychopomps for when businesses make business plans and marketing plans. It is dumb, in my opinion. Okay, I need my money people to bring that down here. You're muted, Mike.
I'm go ahead, Valiant. I don't know what a psychopomp is, so you're up.
I don't
Yeah,
either.
I was playing guesswork on that one, but I think it's a well-timed the demographic breakdowns works for marketing and making psychopomps for when businesses make business plans and marketing plans. It's dumb. Okay, so I think, Willie, what you're trying to get across is kind of like what you guys were just talking about. You know, it's this Nielsen's just collecting data. They're just a data aggregator, and they're passing it along to the networks for what they got. Might there be some flaws with all the changes in how content is delivered today, you know, that they have to address and tweak? Maybe so. Are they doing anything deliberately, quote unquote, racist? I seriously doubt it. But what I think Willie's, you know, getting at is, you know, these demographic breakdowns, that's what they want for marketing. But, you know, do they really care? I mean, you know, is it all just for show? And maybe Willie, I don't know. But it's like Lorena and Tom just said, I don't think that Nielsen is acting, you know, deliberately in some nefarious way to be misrepresentative. They have their formulas. Maybe their formulas are just outdated and they need to change. And just so everybody's aware, you know, I started seeing this, what precipitated this whole thing. It's been coming a while. This started all in the last year. I saw more and more articles. This was before I was on YouTube even. You know, of TV networks and executives starting to kind of bitch and whine that, oh, you know, well, we think the ratings are more than what they're reporting because we're putting out these shows and blah, blah, blah. And it can't be this bad. I mean, let me take an extreme example. Batwoman on the CW, right?
Yeah.
So as an extreme example, just everyone's familiar with that one because we've all seen the videos like people like Az do that we crack up at. There's more people watching Az's videos than watching that show. So, you know, that's kind of one of those things where they said, well, we're making these shows targeting these demographics, right? And we ain't getting it because, like, what is Batwoman's 18 to 49 Nielsen rating? Like 0.1.
They're in the dumps. Yeah.
They're about 200,000.
Oh,
on the 18 to 49, really? I thought it was like 0.1, like 100,000.
Oh no! They're surprisingly they're hovering between the 250 and 500,000. It's like huge ebbs and flows. It's really bad.
But that's total viewership, though, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, he's just talking about the one demographic.
I'm talking about the 18 to 49 or that target demo. Like
18 to 49 is their total viewership. Actually, they don't go outside of that.
I have to go back and look at the numbers again. It's been a little
while.
No,
it's okay. It's a little trickier when you try to aggregate down to say like 18 to 25 and then go 25 to 35 and then 35 to 45 because they do those breakdowns. But like in most cases, what's really kind of weird, especially for CW, is that majority of their audience are over the age of 30.
That's what it's saying, and I trust your knowledge on this more than mine, Scripps. If you
that's okay. Like that's what I know from it. I mean, there's lots to try and figure out with regards to how CW runs their network and aggregates their viewership. But I think one of the complaints that I noticed over the last few years is that people were arguing that Nielsen doesn't have as much reach to users as they originally thought. And that's where they're trying to say, well, how can we only have this percentage of ratings when we know that these many people have TVs, these many people subscribe to our services or watch our show, or we get like, you know, tweets and Facebook and Instagram stuff like that. And I think there's something fair to that because, again, Nielsen doesn't hit every house in America. They hit a lot and they have a good coverage, but there's always more to get. It's not 100% saturation.
Well, and I did share this in the private chat too, Willie, but Willie says it's a marketing term. Psychopomp is supposed to be a profile of your ideal customer. Usually in business, it's a made up person who is your ideal customer. And that's maybe more towards what I was running towards earlier. Like, oh, they only want specific individuals. They don't want anybody else's, you know, info. But that's, again, the network's asking for that, not Nielsen. And I know Andre's got to check out soon, but I did want to get to the next topic before he did. But unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to get to that. Steven did send in a super chat, though, that says, good evening, Andre, Tom, Lorena, Mike, Mandy, Valiant, Wrenches, and chat. Hope everyone is well. And as always, Steven sending in a lovely super chat to say hello, as Andre always points out as well. And then, for some reason, Mike sent us a fucking super chat.
Because why not?
Is he laundering money through us?
Well, this is what I keep telling him. It's like I keep trying to pay him, but he keeps paying me. Tom and Andre, it is a great impromptu Saturday staff meeting and staff virtual potluck ever. Welcome to everyone in the chat. Thank you, Mod and Wrenches. Well, it was supposed to be something completely different, I think, to start with, and then Andre was going to go to bed, and then it just changed. And yeah, Michael Gonzalez.
But it's beautiful when that happens. I mean, that's the best
beauty
kind
of
of
MEAD.
streams.
That's the beauty of MEAD, is we can just off the cuff. Michael Gonzalez also sends in a super chat. Thank you so much. Says
Hey, Michael.
Hey, Mike. The other Mike says some groups are statistically insignificant unless subsumed into larger groups. Example: male North Koreans in U.S. versus male Asians in U.S. Okay.
Yeah, they pull them together.
Okay,
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, that's another problem. They probably and that maybe speaks to what these guys were just saying about how the system is out of date.
Well, they want to make sure they don't micromanage, because if they micromanage, they end up losing opportunities to hit a larger demographic. So yeah, it's a weird balance that they have to do there, because again, you could go with, say, North Koreans, South Koreans, Cambodians, like just keep going and going and going, and it's to the point where all those numbers are going to be insignificant. So it's better just to have the broader parts, so that you can actually have something of value to show, like potential advertisers for their marketplace placements.
Yeah, and I know we got a limited time with a couple of people here on the panel, so I want to move along here to the next topic. But Dash D says, this sounds like a guy who invents a widget. What does a thing? That does a thing, sorry. If another guy uses that thing for bad intentions, it doesn't make the inventor bad. Yeah, that's kind of what I think Lorena and a few of us are trying to get to here too, yeah. I think that's the case. And then we already got this one from Willie, so thank you for that. And then Glinzer sent us one here who says, I wish genre fandom outranked demographics. Horror fans, sci-fi fans, etc. cater to fans of a particular genre. If you build it, they will come. They kind of used to. But what changed here, and this kind of will get us into the next topic, and before we lose Andre specifically, is, they didn't really think beyond their demographic when it came to certain things like this genre things. But now things like Star Wars and stuff make that a different story. Marvel makes that a completely different story. Mm-hmm. So that takes it to a whole new level, and that's where Disney's in the situation they're in now. Isn't that right, Andre?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Disney is making some very interesting changes right now. And I think they're very exciting because the industry often follows Disney's lead.
That's right. Now, I don't know if everybody here on the panel got to watch our video from yesterday, but I hope people in the chat did as well.
Not yet.
I did.
It's a very good video.
Hey, Script, didn't you think it's one of the better ones?
Well, I think it brought an interesting point to the table because, I think a lot of us in the community and in the fandom or whatever are concentrating on the ScarJo situation, lawsuit, and we all kind of want to see her win, but there's more to it, and it goes a little deeper than that.
Yes, it does.
And I think Andre's video did a really great job of breaking it down with Cameron and how this is. I think we're all kind of looking at the situation maybe from the wrong angle, and not only that, I think there's more to it because I think things are already in motion because we just got word that Emma Stone signed up for a sequel to Cruella, so I don't think that means she's going to be suing Disney anytime soon.
No.
And I think now, do I agree with some of Disney's tactics when it came to ScarJo? Fuck no. And I think they handled it completely wrong. But I don't know who's to fault there, and I'm not going to point fingers. But I think maybe, just maybe, Andre's onto something along with Cameron and the other guys that, maybe things are on a different path over at Disney, and they're going to start worrying more about what the customer wants.
Maybe Andre can give us a brief little preview.
Yeah, I was just going to set that up. Thank you.
Well,
I was just going to say, go ahead and give us a quick breakdown of what you
absolutely. The very quick summary, just to do it in the reverse chronological order, because in the movie, not in the movie, but in the video we put out, I guess it would be yesterday, depending on where in the world you are. To me, it was earlier today. But anyway, in the previous editorial, We begin by breaking down the Scarlett Johansson lawsuit, what it looks like at the first layer, but then we peel away the layers and the layers to see what's really underneath and how that lawsuit may just be a front in a far, far greater conflict. If we now, just to keep things short, we're going to flip it to the side and we'll go into that.
I think a quick way of saying, as far as the ScarJo thing, she was kind of used as a pawn, I think. Is that a good way?
A very willing pawn, but
exactly,
it's definitely a gamble. But what's really going on here is a power struggle for the direction of not just Disney, but for the club, the elite in Hollywood, because Bob Iger recruited Bob Chapek in much the same way as Putin recruited Medvedev. But just imagine suddenly that Putin was taken by surprise, that Medvedev was his own man, someone that he couldn't control. I think that's kind of what we're seeing with Chapek, and so does Kamran Pasha. He has instituted all of these changes that directly threaten the hegemony of all of the elites within Disney and within Hollywood. All of the changes that he has done is take the power away, not from creatives per se, not the filmmakers, because they didn't have any power to begin with, but he's taken them away from the studio heads that used to have full autonomy, and he has given the power away to distribution and to merchandise, the two divisions that directly feel what the consumers want and who have an incentive to actually sell to the consumers. And something else he has done, which is absolute sacrilege, is that he has changed the structure of the contracts. Kevin Feige, Kathleen Kennedy, all of these studio heads that used to be hired for very lucrative, like 5 and 7 year contracts, in which there was no way to fire them, no matter how off the rails they went. Well, those contracts will now be replaced by contracts that go for 1 year at a time, and then they're renewed for 1 year at a time, and before they're renewed, merchandise and distribution have to okay that this person is greenlit. That means, like for instance, say that Shang-Chi underperforms, say that Eternals underperforms, after Black Widow performs. Well, maybe Kevin Feige is no longer safe. He could be out the door next year, let alone Kathleen Kennedy. I mean, with this kind of regime, she would never have been there to do the kind of damage she has for as long as she has. These are extreme changes that will benefit the consumer, because basically the ones calling the shot now are the ones that are selling the merchandise. They see, hey, people want Cara Dune, let's give them more Cara Dune. Ain't no way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the short version is basically putting the power back into the hands of the people who can say, this is not making any money, or this is what's making money.
Yeah, and then taking it back to Scarlett Johansson, apparently, according to Small Screen and a couple of others, the Chapek has obviously presented these plans to the board, and he has the majority of the shareholders. Not every single one. Many are loyal to Iger and company, but those that are in it to make money apparently are down with his plans, which means that the only way that you can do something to save your future at Disney, if you are someone like Kevin Feige or a Kathleen Kennedy or something, is you have to create a shit ton of bad press, and you have to put Bob Chapek in the dead center of it, that way, hoping to sway more shareholders to eventually vote for some kind of mistrust to get rid of Chapek, who comes in and disrupts the good thing that they got going there.
Now, Lorena, you've kept up with Chapek, and you even have your own little nickname for him.
Yeah, I do.
Because you do a lot of stuff when it comes to the parks. So I really want to get your side of this. Because he does sound like a very shrewd businessman when it comes down to it.
Frugal would be appropriate.
Frugal, thank you. That's
I would like to stress one thing first. Like, I'm not saying that he's a good man or our hero or anything like that. I would like to quote Gordon Gekko again. Greed, for lack of a better term, is good. And if he is someone who is greedy, he doesn't have to be popular. He doesn't have to be appreciated by anyone that's ever worked with him, because he doesn't work for them. He works for the shareholders. And if his strategy is to make the shareholders more money by way of getting consumers happy again, doesn't matter how big an asshole they think he may be in the parks division. He might actually turn things around.
Well, that kind of sets up my question to Lorraine. I was going to ask, do you think that his way with the parks might translate better to the entertainment side of things? What do you think, knowing him the way you do?
It might. Bob Chapek has a nickname that the cast members call him at Disney, and that's called Cheapek, because he's notorious for cutting hours, cutting salaries, cutting back, especially with the quality of show that is going on at the parks. And you've seen it as like this cumulative effect now, where the parks are no longer the value that they once were. And I'll actually get to the shareholder thing in a minute. So as a park goer, like, for example, I went to the opening night of the Boo Bash at Disney World. Okay, so an event that they used to charge $50 less and give you 3 hours more time, including parades and fireworks, they don't do that anymore. And it's very obvious, all of those cutbacks that are happening. Now, you take his penchants for slashing prices, and we won't even get into how much the Galactic Star Cruiser, all that stuff was going for. If you look at it from a shareholder point of view, with Chapek writing out these contracts, as Andre was saying, that are only good for about a year, instead of like several years for however, God knows, millions of dollars, that may actually work out better, because they're not allowed to just sit there and fester for 7 years screwing stuff up. It's like you've got 1 year and then you're up for review again. So that may translate, I'll say, differently. I don't know if it's going to be well, because there's going to be that churn going on, which you can see with the ScarJo lawsuit. So it may work well for entertainment. It may not continue to work well for the parks, because I can tell you right now, they're
suffering.
They are seriously suffering. There are people, I hadn't been to a Disney park in about 2.5 years. So when I went on Tuesday, I have never seen more irritated, pissed off people in forever. Disney used to be fun, and then near the end of the day, people were pissed because you're tired and you're broke by the end of the day. But people, for the most part, had fun. No, everyone's talking about how much stuff is a ripoff, how expensive things are, how they're charging for everything now, because it used to be that you could park for free at the resorts. You can't do that anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And the quality is down so low, and Universal has made it plainly clear, because I actually did a survey with them. They said, we want to know, are we doing a better job than Disney? And I said, yes. And they said that's what they want to do. Their aim is to come after Disney when it comes to parks, and the shift's already happening.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Chapek took over for a woman that was thrown under the bus for some of the parks.
For Galaxy's Edge, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the other part too is, here's the mentality that Chapek's using, and I think he's learning how to become a producer in his town, because he's using a very old adage, which is, it doesn't matter if I'm loved as long as I'm right. And that's what he's going for right now, and that's a double-edged sword, because it makes you successful, but it also makes a lot of people apprehensive to want to work with them. And so he's playing a very, very dicey game. He might be in the right, he might be going in the best direction, but the other part too is that if a lot of good power players in town don't want to work with him because of him having that mentality, you're going to see a lot of people jumping ship and trying to continue what they're doing at other studios.
That's a good point.
I mean, I'm going to say this: the last time I went, it was the first time, and I've gone many times as a grown man. It's the first time that I've ever felt that instead of going to a magical, happy place that sort of took me away from anything, just the way things were laid out. And this is Disneyland. I've never been to Disney World. Okay. So I just haven't been yet. But my family's had annual passes for a long time. And I felt like I wasn't going to the happiest place on earth. I felt like they were trying to suck every dollar they could out of me everywhere I went, because everywhere I went there was something to buy or something. And even the way some of the lines flowed, you know, I don't remember. I mean, and I remember because I've gone so many times over the years. It's like there's just every time they're trying to sell you something somewhere and bleed you out. And that's how I felt.
So, Mike, would you say instead of it being the Magic Kingdom, it's the Tragic Kingdom?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Andre, what were you going to say?
Script, you nailed it.
Yeah, no, I forgot, but I really have to be leaving here because it's getting quite late in my
really late where you are.
Well, on the
yeah.
Okay, well, you can stick around for a few if you need to. Otherwise, you can take off. We do appreciate having you here, though. But I want to bring this to the table. Animal brings up a point here that, again, I don't know about the secret money part, but as far as the driving away the entertainment side of things with people and the relationships. Disney is like Nintendo. So I think that's where I don't think Bob is as worried about losing friendships in the business side of things like Warner, was at first, because they have all the goods. You can hate Nintendo all you want all fucking day, but if you want to get a game out there that's on, you got to play their rules, right? That was the thing with Nintendo for how many years now that, and Andre probably knows Andre knows what I'm talking about for sure. And anybody who's a gamer here knows, the games that Nintendo has played, pun intended, when it comes to proprietary this and that and the other, and how many licenses they allow per year per company and all these other things. It's like, if you want to play the game, you got to play by their rules. So I think that's why Emma Stone said, fuck it, I'm not suing Disney. I'm just going to play along. And she signed her deal, and she probably got a sweetheart deal for the second movie.
I would imagine that the moment that they learned the rumor that she might be next, Bob Chapek had someone reach out to her and say, look, do you want to sue us, or do you want a sequel? Do you want a franchise and a career here?
That's what I think, too.
I think she was given an offer she couldn't refuse.
Yep.
I think so, too, because there should not be a Cruella 2 coming. That should not. We didn't need the first one. Why are they? Yeah,
it's going to be called 51 Dalmatians.
Well, not only that, on the heel, this news was right on the heels of the quote unquote rumor going around that Disney had cut ties completely with ScarJo.
I do not think she saw that coming.
I don't either.
I think that was like a complete. I think that's like a real power move. That's like, oh, you want to sue us? You want to drag my name through the mud? Well, that movie you thought was happening, what you thought was going to be the next big Disney franchise, well, it's gone now, and it's not even a loss to them because it's not a real before it actually happens. So they can just wipe that out. They can bring it back in a couple of years or even months with a completely different lead. And then they will have shown a signal to the industry, and by then right away signing Emma Stone for Cruella 2. Again, that's a power move. That's
exactly.
They just isolated her.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's a power move, but it also has this other aspect too. If ScarJo fails in her lawsuit, which is most likely, Brian Lord is going to be ejected from CAA.
Really?
Oh yeah, because one of their top tier stars, they go after Disney, and basically Disney's going to say, "Wow, one of your co-founders of your agency instigated, whether it's through coercion or not, instigated a lawsuit against us. I don't think we want to hire any of their clients anymore."
That's a great point, Script.
And boom, this legacy player in town is gone. And
are you serious? That's like, but he's one of the most powerful people. That's like firing Ari from back in the day.
Power is fleeting in Hollywood. That's what the thing is. It's very fleeting. You screw up big enough, you are gone. And this could be a huge screw up because, again, even though it is a civil case, they still have to prove and convince the judge that they had malice intent against Scarlett Johansson, and that's going to be really, really hard to do. Because
it's going to be impossible to prove.
Pretty much impossible because, again, Disney's all about making as much money as they can for themselves and their clientele. Scarlett Johansson, her production company has a deal with Marvel, and they pay the company, and that money goes to her. And their entire goal is we have to make as much money off the projects we have these actors in order to, justify profit. And if they say we can make more money through day and date, given the public circumstances, and that's the intention that they had, and it was not a malice intention, yeah, she's basically on thin ice, and everyone who's connected or instigated or propagated this lawsuit is going to have their head on the chopping block.
That's a good point.
I had a thought real quick before.
Yeah.
Because I think I just might have seen something here. Do you recall that it wasn't many days ago that they made it? Actually, it was like in the investor call like 2 days ago that they made it clear that Shang-Chi would be exclusively theatrical with no Disney Plus release for 45 days. Now, I now see much clearer why they would do that. For one thing, then in court with ScarJo, because that's not going to come up in court, I think, until after that. Then they will be able to argue, look how amazingly well putting it day and date with Disney Plus worked out for Black Widow. We didn't do that for Shang-Chi, and look how badly that flopped, because it's gonna flop at the same time as he's gonna be giving a huge black eye to Kevin Feige. Remember, if you go back to the video that we put out earlier today, and for those that haven't seen it, I recommend you do. I put a clip with Kamran Pasha in here, and Kamran Pasha is impressed with what a devious Machiavellian player Bob Chapek has turned out to be, and he said he had no doubt that he was going to make this whole Scarlett Johansson thing go away. He was going to take down Kevin Feige and everyone else standing in his way. Just like hearing what you say now, I see like the next move here, power play.
Well, let's put it this way.
He's going to weaponize Shang-Chi.
Well, let's put it this way. Shang-Chi is not the experiment, it's the evidence.
Yes,
exactly. It's the evidence. It's been weaponized. He's weaponized it against Scarlett and against Kevin Feige
because they know it's going to fail.
That is so sneaky, though. Holy shit!
Yeah, he's playing 4D chess. And again, this is why I'm saying he's walking a very dangerous line, because again, if he plays all his cards right and moves the needle to basically a bit more of kind of neutering or repositioning the studio heads back to what they were in the 80s and 90s, and then allowing the creative sides, the people that make the IP that merchandise and distributors can actually profit from, have a bit more of an input. And you're not hiring these green directors that are taking studio commands, but you're hiring these creative directors and creative writers that are forming their own little mini productions and building up brand recognition and new merchandise. You're going to have basically a renaissance again, which we are due for in town. I mean, one of the first times I was on this show with you guys, I said, it's about 2-3 years out, you're going to have a pendulum swing the other way. This looks like it's going to be the catalyst for that. And I'm hoping that it is, because again, I don't actually have any favorable complimentary things to say about Bob Chapek. I don't know much about him other than the fact that he's trying to play a role he's never played in before, and he seems to be doing quite well, because again, he's doing the adage, it doesn't matter if I'm loved, it only matters if I'm right. Yep. And if he pushes that through, he's kind of adopting the 20th Century Fox model of contracts from the mid 80s to all the way throughout the 90s, which Fox was a huge studio during that time. Disney was pretty much not a studio during that period because they were doing pretty poorly. So I think he's been going through all the files and stuff from that merger and being, okay, listen, where did Fox screw up? Because we're already screwing up there. And then they're seeing the last 20 years. He's going back to when they're successful, and he's trying to figure out a new model to work on that. And even though overall, because of the invention of smart technology, smartphones, iPads, and whatnot, toy sales have gone down a bit, there's still a market there that can be exploited, and maybe they can overtake or have new applications and video games and stuff that can be used for those smart devices based off of new brands and IP, since that's what kids are going to be into. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting time. I feel very sorry for the cast and crew of Shang-Chi, because they shouldn't be used this way. But
they were in Chapek's 4D chess.
Yes, but it also doesn't have to. They also have in my opinion, a very poor screenwriter who has led the charge on this script for a very interesting character. And one thing that one thing that you'll actually notice, quite interestingly enough, since Disney took over Marvel Studios, is that with each new iteration of a film, they don't introduce as many characters for their own franchise anymore. The last big one was Black Panther in Civil War. And that's kind of how you do it. And ScarJo's character of Black Widow was introduced in Iron Man 2. They should have brought Shang-Chi in earlier in another film so that he would have that moment to shine to generate buzz so that when they have his solo film, it does well. They don't have that anymore. They're not using that anymore.
Right.
They're basically going out cold. And we're going to see, this is why I think Phase 4 is going to suffer tremendously as a result.
Well, and that goes with what I was saying. Like yesterday was brought up on Friday Night Tights when I shared the photos last night. I took those photos a few days ago, but yeah, the Shang-Chi toys are already on clearance. And it's not just at my Walmart. Other people have sent me pictures too. They're varied prices. But here's the funny thing I noticed. Unlike when like Ant-Man and all these other Marvel movies have come out and the figures go on clearance, the only time that I've ever seen the main character in the clearance section was not Black Widow, Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Because
they had
Marvel
hundreds of
to
Captain
clearance.
Marvels on fucking clearance. Like, I wished I'd have taken pictures. It was a sea of Captain Marvels.
Yeah.
As far as the eye could see, those cockeyed bastards. All of them.
I still don't believe the box office of that movie, and I never
But
will.
no, but
Neither do I.
Black Widow,
Neither
too,
do I.
because this might be another reason why ScarJo might be upset, is there was no dedicated line for Black Widow like there was Shang-Chi. Now, people keep saying, oh, there was Black Widow toys. Yes, there was Black Widow toys, but they were all under the Legends and other existing Marvel toy lines, not their very own toy line like Shang-Chi got.
Not their isolated toy line, yeah.
Not an isolated toy line. So I thought that was an interesting point that needs to be brought up as well.
It just reminded me of something about Captain Marvel. I'm gonna go get.
But I know Andre has to get rolling soon, and I know we only got Lorena for a short period yet too.
Yeah.
So like again, like I think that this is very interesting. I think Script's onto something, and I almost want to compare this to how we saw, Rothman go from practically destroying franchise entertainment over at Fox to being the saving grace at Sony, because I think this is where Lorena, I think cheapskates ways at the park may not work for the park, but they might work for the studio. And this resistance we're seeing from certain aspects of the talent and producerial side of things is because they don't want to see the, it's kind of like when Emma Watts come out and she's talked a big game, but then shit didn't really go down that way when it came to Star Trek. I think Cheapskate or Cheap Heck, however you want to call him, I think he's going to fucking follow through with it. I think he's going to be like, look, you do not need all this excess bullshit. It should not cost $200 million to make one of these movies, especially when they're not selling any toys.
Bingo.
Right? Because that's the way Disney works. They're all built on a system to where the movie sells the toys and the movie makes the attraction at the park. And if nobody wants to see the fucking movie, then nobody wants to buy the fucking toy and nobody wants to see the attraction at the park. And that means we got a fucking problem here. And that's what we've been saying for the last 5
Case in
years.
point.
Exactly. Yes, please.
Case in point, I had posted a video on Twitter, I believe yesterday, and I said, what sequel trilogy? And I was showing video of World of Disney, the Star Wars section, nothing but freaking Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian.
Exactly. The Baby
and that sequel
Yoda
trilogy
sells.
shit there.
And I'll tell you, people buy Baby Yoda shit that have never seen the fucking
No.
show. They
Yeah.
have no
No.
idea. They don't care. They just like that Baby Yoda's fucking adorable.
Yep.
Disney knows who makes them and what makes them money, and that's
Well, not only that, like this time next year, anyone who's able to pitch at Disney is going to go directly for Bob Chapek and say, "Hey, Bob, you want to make some money?" That's how they're going to open it up.
Yeah,
and then they're just going to hit as hard as they can because that's what's going to get his attention.
They're also going to focus on the merchandise and the marketing right off the bat, and and probably as it is right now, that may be a good thing. I think that there's a time and a place for everything, and I can definitely see a way when Chapek's way would bring the company into the ground, but not now. Not in an age where Disney has become synonymous with woker than woke entertainment. At this point in time, they need to bring some commercialism back into proceedings.
I can't help it. Heck no. Sadie's smart. I know, right?
So one of the things I got when I picked up my my PlayStation 5 is they gave me one of these. I didn't want it. They were on sale for like $15.
Actually,
I use it as an. It was downstairs. It's not even on my display behind me, right?
That's
so this
the
was
comic book version. That looks better than what we got in the movie.
Yeah, that actually does.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. But they had a whole freaking box of them on a wall, like in the corner, like type of thing, and no one wanted to buy one. But so they gave me this one when I picked up my PlayStation. See?
Yeah.
Where was that costume in the movie?
Right?
How much? You know what? How much would this chick cost me in real life? Probably too much. You know?
Does her face have an angry, like, constipated scowl?
No.
Resting bitch face.
Resting bitch face. Yeah.
But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I have to be off here. So I just want to thank you all for being here and for together giving me the idea for what is sure to be the next editorial. So yeah.
Well, I think
you didn't go to bed.
This is the first time we've had both crews, I think, like this mixed up like this. I can tell you, I think we all
three
appreciate.
crews, really.
Yeah, really. We've got 3 crews here. I think
there's a domino effect about to hit.
I just wish that all 3 crews were available at like in the morning live stream time. That's when
we can do that. We can make that happen. We can make that happen. We'll figure that out. But thank you, Andre, thank you, Tom, both for like bringing us together. I got to run in about 10 minutes. I got to go do Echo Base Network tonight.
Take care, everyone.
Bye, Andre.
Good night, Andre. Bye. But we got some super chats to get through here. If nobody else has to leave yet, unless Lorraine, I know you had a little short period yet too.
I got like about 5 more minutes.
All right, we'll try and get through a couple of these while you're still here. Mr. Tickle Trunk sent us a Shiba dog shaking his body from left to right, surrounded by red hearts. Did they change that so I wouldn't say it's farting red hearts anymore?
I keep saying farting hearts.
I do too. They changed the description though. That's not the old description it used to be.
No.
It used to be shaking its booty and hearts floating or something like that, because that's where I'd say I think he's farting or something.
I guess they didn't like.
Now they're being more specific. Yes, they don't like people like Mandy and I fucking with them, and you too. Deranged Lunatic sent Lorena and Mandy 2 roses amongst the thorns.
Oh, thank you.
Aw, sweet talker. Michael Miller sends in 14 South African Rants, says, I'm convinced they overvalued STD on CBS. Oh, well, of course.
Oh, very
very, very much so. And that's why Kurtzman's only getting $150 million deal.
I don't even know why they're just giving him that. Like, his contract would run out anyways. It's completely peculiar. It's very peculiar. I think it's just more to do with his friends and what you were saying with the Playmates deal. Yeah. And I would not be surprised if there's an exit clause in there predicated on that Playmates deal.
The third time I hear the word Kurtzman today, I'm going off on a rant. It's just a warning. It's because if I hear Kurtzman the third time, then it's going to be.
Well, you said it twice, so
you just said it yourself a few times. Well, notice we haven't even talked about Lower Decks yet, and that dropped last week. Nobody cares.
No,
nobody cares.
No,
that's how dead the franchise is. But moving on from that, thank you for that, Michael. Duro on, if I'm saying that right. I think you told me how to say it, and I forgot. Hey, I caught you. Hello, gentlemen. Hi, beautiful Lorena and Mandy. Can I get a bonjour, y'all, from Mandy? Hail Midnight's Edge. Well, hail Duran.
Of course you can. Bonjour, y'all.
That's like...
I love that.
That's insane, but I love it. Elijah Snow says, it's all there, plain as day, and you can't outmaneuver him. You could write a book on this guy's maneuvers. A train is heading for Feige. Oh, he's talking about Chapek. Yeah. I didn't think about it until Andre's editorial, and I was like, you know what? I think Cameron and Andre are onto something here.
You know what you should do is, Valiant, you've got that video, that 40-minute video up. And then I think Lorena, you want a good suite of videos. Raina has that video where you were
check out your guys' videos.
Raina has that video where you saw the show and stuff like that, and it really captures like the live user experience. Valiant has a great run. It's a 40-minute video, but it's well worth the watch. And then watch Andre's, and I think between all of those, you really get a real feel of what's going on, because there's so many different perspectives coming at this thing. And then, of course, go back and replay this thing and listen to what Script said for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'm really starting to think that ScarJo was pushed into this lawsuit by people around her. And if she would have waited just a little bit longer, she probably would have been fine.
Well, let's play this in a theoretical aspect. So let's say theoretically, Feige convinced ScarJo and her reps to make a claim against Disney and push this thing because Feige was upset that didn't get a solely theatrical release, and he was worried about his ego and his placement with regards to, Cameron calls it the club. I like to refer to it as the cult.
I think you're right, but yeah.
And now you're going to have a domino effect. So if this case goes belly up or doesn't get resolved outside of court quietly, Lord is going to be thrown under the bus, and he's going to take Feige with him. And everyone in Feige's camp is going to fall as well. So you're going to have this big power gap. And what's going to happen, if Chapek is smart, he's going to go back to Jon Favreau, who is technically the founding father of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Mm-hmm. And he's going to say, listen, I know you're busy with Mandalorian, but we really need you to build a new team over at Marvel like you did back in 2008. And
we know he's a team player.
And we know he's a team player, and we know that he can do it because, again, he's got Filoni to help him on Mandalorian, so he can take some time off. And even though I'm not a fan of Filoni in any regards, I am a big fan of Favreau because he knows his stuff, and his instincts in town are far superior to a lot of other people's. And it's really good that we keep him in the producer and director roles and as a writer, because if we get him into management, there's no one else to help shepherd in new people like him. At that point, he'd be completely occupied. So this is going to be a very, very interesting time, and I hope it goes well to usher in another renaissance within the film industry, because it needs it. It really does.
Badly needs it.
Totally agree with everything you just said, Script, especially regarding Favreau. And I've
Yeah.
been saying that.
And Ike Perlmutter's just going to be laughing his butt off.
You're not wrong.
As much as I'm not a big fan of his, And Jesse, hopefully you're driving safe. We do miss you here. Really sucks.
You better not be texting and driving, Jesse. You better not be.
He's got a knee. He can steer.
So Jesse, if you're texting and driving.
And like I pushed it earlier, you guys, if you haven't yet, Mike can attest because he was listening to it. We put him to sleep last night with a bedtime story.
No, you scared me. So you scared me to sleep is what you did. But go ahead.
To celebrate Friday the 13th, Jesse and I have been and a bunch of the guys and gals over there on his channel have been doing script readings. And we did a reading of an unproduced Freddie versus Jason script that is batshit crazy.
That's the one with Ted Bundy at the end of it, right?
Yes.
Wow.
No, not just the end. We found the one that has, not to spoil too much, but it has the boxing match in it. Everything. Yeah.
Y'all were just shit, but that ain't real.
No,
it is.
Jason driving an ambulance and everything.
What?
It is one of the worst scripts ever. It starts out okay because there's some really great callbacks to the original films, but then it starts slowly going down a hill, and then next thing you know, there's a fucking drop off. It just goes because it starts to fall apart about midway through because you're like, wait a minute, how is Springwood so close to Crystal Lake? And it's an hour before Jason even comes into the story. And it's like,
I was listening to that last night.
It was just like, what? And we're sitting here reading. We're starting to point out, like, it was great that you had all these callbacks and connections to the other film earlier, but then you're forgetting all these other things as you're moving on. There's even a flashback to like young Jason and his parents, and it's like, wait a minute, his mom was a cook at Camp Crystal Lake. She was there when he died, but she was working. It was like, what the fuck? Like, there's a lot of these things, and here Jesse's sharing the link, so thanks for that, Jesse. But you better be careful. Drive safe.
I'm so mad I missed out on that because as soon as you dropped what it was, I'm like. Oh,
it is one of the most batshit crazy scripts.
I fell asleep, and I'm so
before
sad.
We did a Halloween 666 script that was never produced, and that one was almost as bad because that one had a bunch of VR elements to it. So by the end of the movie, there's this big VR sequence with Michael Myers and shit. It is fucking crazy. But I've been talking to Script about getting some scripts, and we're gonna be working on this a little bit more. We want to up the production value, so. Jesse and I have been in some talks, but Ted Bundy is actually the ringside announcer at the fucking boxing match between Freddie and Jason.
Oh no! Wait, they box?
Yes.
They literally.
And he gets shot in the back of the head by not John Wilkes Booth, but who's the one that shot Oswald?
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, gets shot in the back. Yes, I shit you not.
Oh my fucking god!
And Hitler's got a line, and it's nuts.
Oh my god! Well, this should have got made, obviously. This movie. We're missing
for all the wrong
one.
reasons.
Yes. Where's Freddie and all this? Oh, I didn't even get to the Freddie cult. Freddie's actually.
You got to go watch the stream, guys.
Yeah, Freddie's actually in this script a little bit more, maybe as far as proactively than he is in the other Freddie versus Jason. I mean, there's nothing in the other script that really kind of carries. Like, there's no real connection to the other one whatsoever, other than they fight. But yeah, Freddie's being resurrected by a Freddie cult. So my point with that was the only real connection tangentially is like Freddie's lost his powers. So he can't really kill anybody yet. And throughout this entire movie, only like 2 people get killed by Freddie or Jason. And Jason kills a few more, but Freddie only gets like 2 people. It's like, it's not much worse than the other one where he only got 1. Joe Pat 87 says, what did happen to all those real boneheads videos? Andre didn't really care for them, so he just took them down. I still have them. Never know. We may use them from here time to time. But Lorena's got to go, and we got a few more super chats to
Yeah,
give you.
I gotta roll.
So, Lorena, you got anything coming up you want to plug?
Yes. Sunday at 8 p.m., the Welcome to Florida live stream. We are going to be talking all of the announced information to date about Halloween Horror Nights taking place at Universal Orlando, which is going to start, I believe, the beginning of September. I'm also going to have a special guest, Sam McCabe from Australia, who is basically going to show us why Queensland is the Florida of Australia. So we're going to be talking about that.
That's very true, actually.
The more stories I read, the more I'm like, dang, it is true. But thanks so much for having me on. Thanks everybody for coming out. Please do hit that like button and share the stream.
Steven Otten says, how much coke got snorted to write that one?
Oh, so
A lot.
Hollywood was so
God, I miss
creative when they were on
cocaine.
coke. Bye, everybody. Take
care.
care.
And Jesse says none. It's all gone. Yeah, they snorted it all in the 80s and 90s.
No, Tom, you don't miss that. Hey, I got to drop off too. I got to go. I got to host Echo Base Network tonight. Nick's at the Vegas thing with Loki.
Well, I thought he was getting on a plane. I thought he just said.
Well, but he won't be back till late tonight. Loki and them getting in like midnight or some shit.
Yeah.
So, DJ Renegade, I'm handing you.
Know if you need anything.
I'm handing you the virtual sombrero here
We're
from
gonna be
my.
wrapping up pretty soon anyway.
I'll be over at EBN soon.
There you go. There's the sombrero, the virtual sombrero to you, Valiant Renegade. There
Thank
you are.
you. The virtual sombrero. Oh,
Later,
it's covered in enchilada sauce. God.
No, it's covered in hair gel from Grease Lightning.
Don't eat it.
Well, thank God it wasn't Astroglide.
Don't
go
eat it.
away.
Ew, I know what Astroglide is.
What's Astroglide?
It's for
lube.
proctology.
No,
that was a script. You were supposed to let Mandy answer that one.
He's right though. He was correct.
That's what it was invented for. That's not what it's always used.
If I said KY, we would never mind.
No. All right, I'm out of here. I got to run, you guys. Thanks for everything.
Love
you all. Bye, everybody in the chat stream. Bye, mods. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Take care. Aiken sends us a Shiba dog shaking its body from left to right, surrounded by red hearts. I swear they changed the thing for that. And then Waltman came in just before that with one, and then I think we're caught up on super chats if I'm not mistaken.
You just got a new one.
You got a new $2.
Aside from the new ones anyway. I'm back to ones I can bring up on screen at least here now. The Waltman 4 says they had 2 play sets, Black Widow's Gauntlet and Taskmaster's Mask, Sword, and Shield, and even then I saw those and Shang-Chi's toys on clearance. Yeah, play sets though are not toy lines. That's what I was getting. Yeah, because some people were arguing with me. It's like, and I got a ton of DMs, and I had to keep explaining to people. No, I understand. There's the Marvel Legends, and then there's the other one I can't remember the name of.
There's a Black Series, the Marvel Legends,
the Black Series,
and then there's their own individual, like they're technically their
which
their
Black
film.
Widow did not get. Yes.
Yeah, their film franchise. Like I remember Iron Man 3 got a little toy line too.
Pretty much almost all of them have, from my recollection, except
Yeah,
for
she didn't even get the little Barbie. Like
I know,
little
right?
She didn't even get that, which was really surprising because most of the females get like a little Barbie-like character, but not for Black Widow.
And then podcast with Ian Slater says, enjoy some Rick Astley. He made 1 billion on his video. Did he really? Never
Really?
Give you up. He hit
Never
1
gonna
billion.
let
Awesome.
you down. That
Never
one.
gonna run around.
Is that from like being rickrolled?
I think so. Well, now which one is that though? Is new one though that was an HD, or is that the old one? Because they brought it. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but like what, about 6-7 months, maybe a year back, Valiant. I don't know if you're aware of this too. They rescanned and put his video up in HD. Because when they
like the original Rick Isley video.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of these videos were shot in film, so if they were shot in film, they could be, because remember, like Last Christmas, everybody was freaking out about Last Christmas with Michael Bolton. It's like, it was filmed on film, of course. You could. I'm waiting for Michael Jacksons and Princes out there. Come on, let's get them done.
Oh God, that'd be
and we still have to do our 4K stream, Tom.
Exactly, Valiant. We've been talking about that, but no, and I know Thriller is done in not only like I think it's scanned in 4K, it's done in fucking 3D, and they haven't released it yet.
That's a crime. In fact, I don't even know if he shot it in film, but I think Thriller or which one? One of them. I think they shot those Michael Jackson videos not just in film, like 35 millimeter, but 70 millimeter.
Oh, all of his stuff was shot in film.
Captain EO was 70 millimeter.
That's it. Captain EO was 70 millimeter, and they just brought that back to Disney World a few years ago.
Yep.
They could release. They could have released that on 3D Blu-ray because Captain EO was 70 millimeter 3D. Yeah,
that's
like
the
real
one,
3D. Yep.
Yeah, and that was great. And anybody remember who directed that one?
Landis. No, not Landis.
Landis did Thriller.
Not Scorsese either. God damn it. Francis Ford
Spielberg.
Coppola.
I think.
Oh, Spielberg did it? I thought it was Coppola.
Oh, it might have been Coppola. It was one of those. It was. I thought it was
Spielberg might have produced it, though.
That may be what I'm thinking of. But I mean, it was. I mean, they had some heavy hitters just to do that one damn thing for Disney.
Landis.
Well, mostly they did it for Michael Jackson.
Yeah, too. But I mean, it was
basically
featured
Michael
in
Jackson
Disney.
and a bunch of Muppets. There's actually really shitty versions of it out there on YouTube, so you can check it out.
I was thrilled when it came back because one of the trips I made, all three of my kids got to see that. When like the same EO that I saw when I was a kid when it first came out in like 87, 88, whatever the hell it was.
No, but seriously, they rescanned Thriller because like almost all of Michael Jackson's stuff was done on film.
Yep.
But Landis was going to do some special release of it with the documentary and everything, but then all of a sudden, right when that Finding Neverland shit happened, it got canceled.
Yeah, because they were supposed to
for years
do a remaster of Starlight, which was the original lyrics for Thriller.
I have that song, dude.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, well, it was on one of the special editions of Thriller, but yeah.
Yeah, because they were going to go behind the scenes and do the whole thing. It's like, it was originally Starlight, then they decided, and it was Quincy Jones, I think, helped him say, Thriller was.
Well, it was originally written by Rob Tappert, who also wrote like 2 or 3 of the other songs on Thriller, and then they changed. Yeah, the song itself didn't change, just the lyrics did.
Yeah, just the lyrics.
And then they brought in Vincent Price, and then the video became the most expensive video at the time, plus the longest one MTV had ever played, because the actual video itself is like, 12 minutes long or something like that?
12 minutes long, the short film. And they got Vincent Price because I think one of the people's wives was friends with Vincent at the time and said, do you want to do it?
Yeah, Francis Ford Coppola was the director, and George Lucas was
George
the producer.
Lucas. Okay, yeah. I knew it was one of them. Yeah, yep. That was at Disney for how many years?
Oh, God.
20?
20, yeah, I was going to say you got it. I think script about 20.
I'm pretty sure it was 20 years.
And that Mecha J is right here too. The MJ estate sucks at releasing his videos in top quality. Fans have been asking for his stuff for years. Oh hell yeah, I've got all the old DVD sets, and it's like, just get it out there in decent. I mean, it's not that hard, and I can't believe that's the one thing that has been like completely overlooked is a lot of the classic music, because I've got some of Queen's stuff has been updated, but then some of it hasn't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Duran has got a few updates.
Yeah. And the Beatles have got a bunch of their stuff now that's been rescanned. A lot of these videos, as long as they weren't done on video, they can be rescanned and released in HD, and you can put out these really great box sets. And I can't believe the music industry isn't getting in on this shit. Joe Pat sends us another super sticker. I think that was also a Shiba dog dancing, if I'm not mistaken. I think I might have even. No, yeah, it's just saying bye-bye. So he's leaving, I guess. Well, take care, Joe Pat. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. And yeah, we're going to be wrapping.
You missed Sanders' super chat.
Did I? Where is it?
I don't know. I just saw it in the chat, though.
I was about to say, I need to go dust off some of my old Betamax copies of YouTube videos. So,
where did I miss Sanders?
I'm going back. I'm trying to find. It's past where I can scroll back.
Son of a bitch. What did you say, Sander? Because I must have missed it.
I'm scrolling up. Let me see if I can find it in the live feed.
I didn't get it. Oh, I got this one. Oh, the ScarJo. Here it is. I got it. Okay.
Got it.
I got it in the. I believe it's the only one I haven't read yet in the.
In the private.
Here. Yep. The ScarJo issue is all about diverting away from the actual issue, which is that Black Widow is the first Marvel movie that bombed at the box office. That I think it's
in the opening weekend, technically.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's way past that now. You could, that first weekend they were panicked, and that's why I think they added the Disney Plus numbers to the whole mix, which I think
the overall,
which I still stand by, made it look worse than it actually helped.
Well,
because
exactly.
I agree.
And that's what I was going to say, and not to go back too much, but what you guys were saying earlier is all right. The whole problem with the Disney Plus numbers is, yay, we made $60 million on the opening weekend Premier Access. Even if we can use a reasonable extrapolation and bring that out to a 2x and say they got $120 million total to date on Premier Access money for Black Widow, upscale that even to theatrical revenues. Let's call it $250 million, right? Assuming, they would get double that in the theaters, blah, 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 whatever. Black Widow still only yanked in about $550 million, folks, globally.
Well, I think they're currently reporting at 362 without the China market.
Right, which they're never going to get.
362.
Okay, so they're
which is basically early years of Marvel films.
That's
pretty much.
That's Cap. That's the first. That's way back when, and that's if you don't adjust those early numbers up to 2021 inflation figures.
Yeah.
So and
this would have been great in 2009.
Exactly. Shang-Chi. You think Black Widow was funky? Do you think anybody out there want to see if hang on, my camera power supply goes out again right when I start talking? Does anybody think that Disney is going to bounce out the D+ numbers when they drop after the 45 days? Because I don't think, and I don't know, Script, you might know, but I don't think that when Shang-Chi completes its contractually obligated 45-day exclusive window with the theaters, when it hits D+, I on that call, Chapek didn't even really clarify if it's going to be $30 at that point or if it's just going to hit D+ for free with your subscription. That's what I don't know. That has not been made clear, but I'm willing to bet it's still going to be a $30 Premier Access, and then it will be 90 days after that.
Which goes to free,
Right, when it hits the free side. But yeah, look, everything you guys said, Script, that was such a brilliant observation with the CAA, because Disney can leverage it and we're not going to hire your clients. Well, what are the clients going to do? The clients are going to go somewhere else. They're going to hire a different agency if they can slip their contract. And that's where Disney has the power, and Script is 100% right. And yes, everyone, please do check out the video that Andre did, that Tom produced, that got released this morning. And I woke up this morning and I watched it and I chuckled because I'm like, holy shit, because this is why I think Midnight's Edge, Tom and I and Andre get along so well. We think so much alike, because that video was very much similar to the video that I put out yesterday, also with Cameron. We kind of came to the same conclusion, but coming at it from different angles, and we covered different information. So I do agree with what Mike said. I think if you put Andre's video together,
which is funny because I edited that video that we put up today, Thursday.
And I filmed
because we had to wait for the go ahead from Skillshare.
That's what Andre told me Thursday night, because I told him I was actually about to turn on the computer and film that bit with Cameron, and I wrote the script for that Wednesday when that article came out. So it worked out. But it's 40 minutes.
I just think it was funny because it was even before that, so it was like we both came to it was like a two trains colliding almost.
Yeah, but what was good is the videos really weren't duplicative. We kind of came at things from different angles, and both.
No, exactly. Yeah. But that's my point. Is it was completely. What's the word I'm looking for? Independent of each other is my point.
Yeah, it was independent, and it basically builds on top of each other. You can watch them in either order and just get the full picture. And to your point, Valiant, yes, either talent is going to jump ship from CAA, or CAA is going to say there's no way we're losing our talent out to William Morris or ICM or UTA, and they're going to be like, we will. It's easier to drop. It'd be easier to drop Lord and just basically absorb his roster than it would to try and actually renegotiate, fight tooth and nail with Disney and every other agency in town. That could take their entire talent.
I imagine that would cost them a small fortune.
Yeah,
right. And it's kind of
it would, but it'd be worth it over at the end if they're like, we just buy out Lord and just
not just that. Bye-bye. Disney doing what it did on its end. I don't know who said the whole thing about ScarJo to the public, but I'm assuming it was just some nameless, faceless lawyer.
Probably,
So it's not going to matter in the end. The difference is here you'll have Billy Lord, who's a very public persona.
Well, Brian Lord, Billy's his daughter.
Brian, I got confused because I was just going to say, because not only is he who he is with CAA, for those who don't know, he's Billy Lord's father, aka the father to.
He's father to a legacy child of Hollywood. Basically, Eddie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds had Carrie Fisher, and Carrie Fisher had Billy Lord, and Yeah, she's a
so again,
third
that's
generation.
What I'm getting to is, he's got a lot of ties personally as well. So he's putting himself out there on this really bad plank to be basically pushed over the edge. And
Yeah, if he's
ScarJo's out
smart,
there
he will
looking, I
get
think.
this handled quietly to maintain everything he needs, and I think that's the direction it's going to go. But if something happens where it goes public, yeah, he's gone. I mean, he'll probably just start his own agency and then kick ass there.
Well,
but
I think it's starting to look like Feige and Iger were the ones who pushed this ahead to try and make Chapek look bad. I really am starting to think that.
And then they're going to go down with everyone else as a result.
Yeah. And I think you're right. And I don't think you're wrong at all. And I think your assessment is 100% on that. And I got nothing more to go on it than what, Valiant and, Andre and all those guys have said already and what reporting we've got. But I do think that makes the most sense right now. And I can see Chapek going that direction. But I think we're going to wrap things up here. I think we got every super chat. If we did miss any, please let me know. But I do think I kept up on them pretty good this time, even though YouTube is still goofy on its end.
If I may say real quick, we still have about
please.
307 people watching right now. We have about 205 likes. So I would ask everyone, before you check out tonight, make sure you crack that like button down there. Make sure you get that thumbs up in there so we can get all of you guys to smack that button before we head out.
Well, Echo Base is going to be starting pretty soon, so head over there. Also, right now,
I'm heading there.
Gary's live with Tom Conkle talking about Blade Runner. If you head over there, tell him we sent you. Otherwise, tell him we sent you over on Echo Base. If somebody's got that link, that'd be awesome. They can share it in
I
the
will
chat.
grab it real quick and see if. Well, I'm not wrenched. I don't think I can post a link.
Well,
but
you
I
aren't.
will
We'll say
grab
something
it.
in the chat, and I'll wrench you.
Okay, hang on a second.
Let
Let me get the.
I'm going to give Lindsay a wrench too while I'm at it.
Yay!
I know you got one, I think, already, Mandy.
I think so.
Yeah.
Hi.
Thanks for occupying the dead air there, Mandy.
Yes, thank you, Mandy.
I do what I can.
Well, and I feel bad for Mandy because she probably come on thinking she was going to have some fun on Mead and then turned into money talk.
Well, I tell you what, Mandy, how is the critter fund going? And tell us, do we have a decision on the critter yet?
I saw a baby koala and a baby raccoon, and I thought of Mandy both times.
Oh, yes, we
I'm
know
like,
what
Mandy
we're
would
doing.
All right, Tom, I just pasted the link in chat.
But I don't know how it's going because studios won't let me check, so I have no idea because studio cut me off and I can't see how much I've gotten.
Oh, that's right, because of stupid YouTube shit.
Yeah, I can only
Dash
see
East
like
has
the
me
last
mixed one of
5.
his.
Yeah, so I don't know, but
Dash
it's lower than that. But we probably still got a little bit.
Let me see if I can bring it up, Dash Deesh, but I don't know. It's been. Hopefully, it's one of the newer ones.
Let me post the link without being wrenched. That's unusual. Usually,
well, say something. I was gonna say something in the thing, and I'll wrench your ass.
I did. I just posted it twice.
Where's it at?
No, it probably shows
just
up
say
on your
hi.
end, but it won't be.
Yeah, 'cause it's not coming through. Just say
Hang
hi.
on.
Say koalas in the rain or something.
How about just hi, Tom? There we go. Right
Hi,
there.
Tom works.
I'm trying to find your super chat that we missed, Lubug. I am looking.
And I'm going to look in the other side of things while you're doing that. And I just wrenched. Now you can share the link.
There we go. All right. So I'm going to share the Echo Base.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And then I'm going to go to the studio here.
Cross fingers.
Yeah. If not, Dash, if you remember what you said, just repost it, man. I'm sorry about that.
There we go.
No, it's still not letting me open up, and I don't see any from Dash.
Hey, Klobby, what's up? I see you out there, brother.
Okay,
hey,
so
Clobbering.
Hey, Clobbering Times, how you doing, buddy? Hi. All right, so let's see, Dash D. Yeah, just let me know what you said. I'm sorry, man. Fucking YouTube.
It's really being funky.
And we got some
Really
koalas.
My phone making noise, Namens? I don't have
koalas
and
and raccoons. A chinchilla. Oh my gosh, Southern Sea. So it's chinchilla. Don't they bite? Aren't they
yes,
biters?
they do.
I thought so.
I think everything can bite.
But
I think
this is all a byproduct of them adding the whole night vision to the studio, right? Pretty much.
I think so. Well, they're doing something.
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly, but they're changing a bunch of shit, and it's been taking them days to get it fixed.
Forever.
Dash, where you at, buddy? What'd you say? Do you remember?
Mandy, I just saw your new Instagram pic in the pool. Very cute.
I'm not seeing Dash pop
Oh,
up.
I wish I could go swimming. All the pools are closed in our area.
Oh, okay, here we go. Just wondered if ScarJo was trying to go out in a glory, taking on the Giants as opposed to fading away. She maybe have been built up to believe that. Very much so. And I'm not saying that she doesn't have some ground to stand on here, but I think she jumped the gun.
As a talent, she has ground. But if you take a look at her film record, box office wise, the only ones that make any actual money are with Marvel.
Yes, and the 20 million she got up front guaranteed was a king's ransom for that. And I mean, I understand. I mean, and here's the thing, guys: we'll never know what ScarJo's contract really says because it's sealed under an NDA. Just like Kevin Feige's contract to run Marvel, just like Kathleen Kennedy's and all this crap. These are sealed under NDAs. A lot of time, the judges in these court cases, I mean, they have to give a special release for them to privately review these because they're sealed under NDAs. So we'll never see this as a public. And honestly, no. Of course, ScarJo is saying they violated it. Bob Chapek is saying that, no, we didn't. You know, we read the contract. There's nothing specific in there about this. This is why they settle out of court. This is why they want to go to arbitration. But to Scripps' point earlier about the whole CAA thing, understand that somebody like ScarJo, with this kind of money, with her kind of clout, with her kind of notoriety, this lawsuit never would have been filed without her legal counsel and her agency, the CAA, reviewing it first and giving the green light to it. And that's what Script is talking about. And that's why this guy running, you know, one of the partners there is going to have a crosshair on his head, you know, for a target and have problems.
And one thing to note is that Hollywood attorneys, as good and prolific as they are deep down very stupid, because they will take any case, even if they lose, because they still make money.
That's true.
I'm going to say they're going for a settlement, even if they can squeeze an extra 5 or 10 million out of there, and if they can do it in a couple of months, well, then that 35% of that's going to the lawyers.
Yeah, so, at least. But if they even don't get anything, they still have to get paid.
Right.
And that's what usually happens. That's why I'd be very careful when you're making any suits for accusations. You have to have everything, all your ducks in a row, because it doesn't matter if it's a great lawyer or a terrible lawyer, they get paid anyway.
That's
so
true.
Unless they're doing a pro bono with a percentage take, they're going to get paid, and it doesn't matter if they win or lose. They just have to represent the best you can, and if they lose and they know they're going to lose going in, they're still making their money, and they don't care ethically what's going to happen. And that can very well be the case here, because in my experience with a slew of lawyers that I interviewed over years for writing a pilot of my own, they would never, like, the ethical ones would be like, if I was reliant on doing something right, I would never take this case because I could never prove it.
Yeah, and one thing real quick, the last carrot to dangle out there on the story for people to think about would be this, is that, you know, that response that came from Disney that was very ham-fisted, incredibly ham-fisted, you know, blaming her for being so insensitive about the pandemic and all this kind of stuff. Well, I mean, Bob Chapek himself did not write that. Now, we're having these conversations about, obviously, when you have a transition of power like this in any company, especially an entertainment company like Disney, you're going to have warring factions. And part of me, the more I think about it, the more I have to wonder. I'm not saying this is the case. I'm just saying that I think it's at least a possibility that response was crafted ham-fistedly, maybe to make Chapek look like a bigger dick.
Like from one of the other camps.
I thought that response was so stupid. The more I thought about it, I'm like, I'm like, there's no way. There's just no way that they could have put out a response that freaking stupid, that freaking tone deaf. But anyway, just something for folks to think about. That's it.
Possible. Very possible. They're snaky. They're snakes over there. I'm not joking.
Yeah,
they're I
know. Go watch Andre's video. Go watch my video. After that, the first 15 minins is a narrative. The other 25 minutes of it is Cameron and I discussing it.
It's a Hollywood War of the Roses, so to speak, type of thing. It follows a lot of the same structures of family monarchies and all that other stuff. It's always fascinating and fun to do, and this will probably warrant a few books, I would say, within 10 years from now.
Right. Well,
they're sealed by an NDA.
We got a couple of super chats.
That won't stop anybody, man.
We got a couple of super. Go ahead.
Well, thank God for the word unauthorized. I mean, that's the easiest scapegoat.
Right. But I have been sharing everybody's links in the chat, including Mandy's book. Do pick that up.
Thank you.
I'm going to share scripts link. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to grab these super chats. We got Eric Wimberg, who sent in $2. Says, nice show, y'all. Thumbs up and fire. Awesome. Thank you for being here. Eric Wimberg, always a great supporter of the channel and myself, and I appreciate it. This says, Viacom don't just on Paramount Plus. They also have the free Pluto app with its free advertisement.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They just don't have. Okay, yeah. So yeah,
they don't own just Paramount Plus. They have a couple of subsidiaries.
Yeah, there's a lot of companies that have more subsidiaries than just their main ones. But Pluto, is that just them exclusively, or is that something they own with somebody else though too?
I can't remember, but I think it is. I think it's owned by essentially National Amusements and Viacom.
Okay, I wasn't sure if Comcast was in on that deal or something. Maybe
there might be some licensing deals on that because. Again, because it is a free and ad-based streaming service, it usually, if people know about it, it does well because everybody likes free. So I mean, that's just the one thing there.
And see, Dr. Coffin Nail says, "Hell, I was unsubscribed from Andy's channel." That's why we always say, please make sure that you're still subscribed and you check the bell icon and follow us on Twitter and other social media so you know when we're going live, because the YouTube monster does like to keep us down.
They do.
Speaking of, Mandy, do you have anything coming up besides your book that people should check out?
Yes, actually Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, I'm having you and Cameron come on to talk to me about the Suicide Squad. So that's going to be really fun. So everybody come in. Yeah.
Tomorrow
no, Sunday. Tomorrow's Sunday, isn't it? Yeah, tomorrow at 3 Eastern. So,
so see
and everybody got Blue Bombshell. My other artist Clint's book is closing in like an hour, so everybody go check that out as well. So there you go.
I will never look at that book the same way again after last night's stream, Mandy. And damn well know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. The bush. You're talking about the giant bush you drew. The bush.
Oh my God.
He did
Hashtag Blue Taco. Okay, moving on.
Valiant. Anything you got coming up here you want to plug other than the video you already have out, that which you can share the link for in the chat?
I think I mentioned it. Nothing in particular. We take the news a day at a time over there on the channel. But yeah, definitely do go check out the video I put out last night. Actually, it's one of the best performing videos I've had to date. I will say this. I just want to thank everybody out there in the Midnight's Edge and the MEAD community. You guys have been fantastic. The subscriber growth from your channel and some others like Doomcox have just been amazing. And I've got about 1,500 watch hours to go at this point before monetization. So, and that is up almost 1,000 watch hours.
Get over there, guys. Help them out.
Yeah, pick up a playlist. Run it overnight. Go to bed. Turn it on the phone. Turn it. I don't care. Run the watch hours for me. Big help. I thank you guys so much. You guys have been amazing. Mandy has been a tremendous friend. Love Mandy to death. Script has been fantastic. Has given me some great advice. I can't thank this community enough. But yeah, go check out that video and then check out Andre's and Tom's that they did this morning for Midnight's Edge. It is really fantastic. I think there's something going on here. There's something deeper moving with Disney. And this is just the kind of stuff. And it's one of those things. This is a very large, slow moving vessel, right? This is not going to change and stop on a dime. This is going to be a long process. We keep our eye on it. And we're going to see things, I think, change quite a bit over the next few years. And it's going to take a few years to see it. But I think we're going to see a lot of changes in the next few years at Disney.
I think you're right. Rob Altus says he never got notified of the stream. Well, that's what I was talking about. You definitely want to make sure that bell icon is checked, you're subscribed, and if not, make sure you follow us on Twitter and other social media to make sure you get all the alerts, Rob. But we're glad to have you here, and thank you so much for the donation. You're always a very supportive member of the fellowship, and we got a lovely, strong fellowship here. You're stunning and brave, folks, in every real sense of the word. They don't know what that really means. You guys are such things. And I see a lot of Congos in the chat.
Yeah, definitely. Get some channel memberships here. I am a proud Congo member, folks. Get some memberships out here for MEAD.
And we might be doing some members only karaoke soon.
Ooh, yay.
Let me know much in advance when you can, because I want to plan for that time. I'll be there.
Yes. It's going to happen. Sean Tower, you came in with a hell of a super chat earlier and says this now, and this really means a lot to me. Well, guys, I started the stream in a bad mood, did not say much. Thank you for the support. Have a great week. It's stuff like this that helps sometimes. I hope you're in a much better mood than you were.
Thank you,
We hope
Sean,
you had a
God
great
bless you,
time.
brother. God bless you.
I know it's not as goofy and funny as MEAD usually is, but you can always catch us on Tuesdays and Thursdays where we goof out a little bit more. But no, I think we had a very insightful conversation, and I was happy to see all the friends here. It was really nice to have like a converging, like we said, of all the channels. The only thing we were missing was like Paulie and Nina and Jesse, of course.
Yeah.
And a couple others, and it really sucks. But, you know, maybe this is something we're going to have to try and do more often. I think that's a good idea.
Me too.
And culture, of course, culture is also a very valued member of our team as well. I'm trying not to forget names, but we got Pablo and all those guys also as well over on Espanol. So it'll be cool to have like one big, huge, like get together once a month or something.
I agree.
Like that. That'd be awesome.
I agree. That would be fun.
I think so. Like a picnic, like Mike
said.
And guess he's becoming a member. Well, here's the best part. If you're already a member on any of the other channels, which right now it's only MEAD and Midnight's Edge, you get notifications for both. We make sure that all members get cross notifications, so you don't have to be a member of both channels. But if you want to support both channels, we appreciate it. But yeah, we don't expect you to have multiple subscriptions. So that's one way we try not to double dip on you guys. We don't want to do that. Daryl Brewer says, bring the karaoke. I'd do it. All right. Well, there you go. You're going to get your chance.
I'm gladly volunteering my double dipping on both channels, by the way. Just for anybody else that feels compelled.
And I want to thank all the mods and Six, of course, earlier for sending in that story. That helped a lot with getting us where we got to in that Nielsen story. Thank you so much for that. And you guys are awesome. You guys are awesome as always. And I forgot to do a warning before the show. I fucking forgot already.
It was that useful of a show tonight. You don't need
Well, here's the warning. You see, it's still fitting.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah,
it really is.
So you got to watch your shit, guys. Gremlins around here. We've got trolls. We've got goblins. They take shit.
They do.
And we're not responsible for it.
Some critters do that.
Bears, critters everywhere because of Mandy.
It's true. It's true.
And
you're gonna find a possum one day, aren't you?
Mandy's gonna look. My husband wouldn't let me keep it at the house.
He's already tried to cut me off. It don't work. Fuck that.
Like,
he can't
cut me off. I'll cut you off, motherfucker.
He ain't gonna hold me back from my critter loving. Fuck that. I'm the ruler around here.
And sometimes double dipping can be fun, but not in this case. We don't want to double dip our friends and our family and our fellowship. We don't want to do that at all. Oh, I see Kitty Bear's here too. Welcome, buddy.
Hey.
I love seeing all these faces that I love to see all the time. Lord Trinan, of course, and everybody else. You guys make it worthwhile. Rory Mitchell. I don't want to miss anybody. Stephen Naughton, of course, who's screaming about his spleen. Somebody stole your spleen? Well, that I have nothing to do with.
They probably didn't even put him in a bathtub of ice.
Did you not see the warning?
We tried to tell you.
I mean, the next one's probably like, we're not responsible for unauthorized surgeries either.
Well, you didn't have to go that far.
At least Mandy had the courtesy to put me in a bathtub of ice after that.
But yeah, I hope everybody's in a better mood than when they started. I know I've been in a rough mood all week because of this Vegas stuff. I want to be out there and I'm not. I know a lot of you guys are feeling the same way. And that's the other thing I got to keep reminding myself of. It's not about me. It's not about the YouTubers. It's not about all this other bullshit, even though I could use a vacation. It's all about you guys. And that's what it's about. And that's why yesterday was so awesome to have everybody come together on FNT the way they did and the way the whole show worked out. I thought even with all the technical issues, I was surprised I even got to be on the panel. I wasn't expecting to be. So that was a pleasant surprise. But yeah, so yeah, I want to thank everybody in the community for all the support. Mandy stole his. Well, again, I showed you the warning.
Steven.
I don't know how much more we can stress this. I got the most use out of this warning than I thought I would.
All right. Steven wins that round with that.
Yeah, he does.
He does. He won.
All right, kids. Thank you so much for the support and being here. And with that, let's go out on something funny. Why not?
Yeah.
Fuck this shit. I'm